Hey y'all. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I will cam up. Okay, I am gonna cam up. Just give me a little bit. I have to feed my baby. Okay, I have to feed my baby. And I'm not one of them weirdos that need to breastfeed in front of a bunch of folks. Let's be so for real. But I will cam up in a little bit. Let me let me see. Let me kind of adjust. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, it's okay, baby. It's okay. Let me see. I have my avatar. Well, I don't really need a stank face avatar. Hold on. Let me see if I could switch my avatar to something a little bit nicer. Let me see. I have so many already saved up. Let's see. Um, let's go with this one. Okay, that's better. That is much better. All right, y'all. Let's see. Hey, what's up, y'all? What's good? Um, you said, Andrew, you said to your question in the thumbnail, my answer is white liberal feminist. Anyways, hope you're all good. What's so funny is that in the beginning of this live stream, and if you guys want to see the entire live stream, I have it linked in the description. So like after this live stream, go check out the original live stream. What's so funny about what you just said was that was one of the things that I brought up. In the beginning of the stream, I had brought up, how black people, we tend to want as much proximity to white people as possible. And so what you had happen was when the white feminists were out there really stomping and trying to make a big fuss about a lot of different things, you had black women who wanted proximity to those white women. So they latched on to that very same movement. And the part that, made it so toxic for us was that black people, we're just hyperbolic. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. For some things, it can be really good, right? That a bit of hyperbole can be very good. It's kind of what gives us our flavor. But we take that into like literally everything that we do. And that's where it can get pretty toxic. So you had the feminism that was coming up during that time, and we just took it to the next level, right? As opposed to just doing it the regular way, like the slower trajectory that the white feminists had. We just like turned the knob up. We turned the knob up 1000%. And so we're seeing the destruction that's being caused by feminism. We're seeing it far sooner than our white female counterparts. So they're still seeing the destruction. Okay, they are still seeing the destruction, but it's not at the same rate that we saw it. Ours was amplified and it almost sped up, which is the crazy part. So I did bring that up when we were originally talking about this. June to the max, she's so funny. White saviors are the worst. I know, right? The white saviors are the most disrespectful, anti-black racists. Like they are far more racist than the ones who we would normally label as racist. Let's be so for real. The fact that they think we need them to save us, and it's just like they are the ones who truly think that they are superior over us. That's why they have that savior complex. So, that's the part people don't want to acknowledge, is that the liberal white savior complex is one of the most racist complexes that you could have. Because it's like, black people, we can do things for ourselves. We're choosing not to. That's the problem. The problem isn't that we can't. It's the problem is that we won't. Right? That's the real problem. The real problem is that we won't. Um, so let's see. Uh, you said you just soloed over that jazzy instrumental on the guitar. That's cool. That's really cool, Swan Daily. I used to play the guitar, like the acoustic guitar. I was not that good, but I knew how to do a few things on there, and then I just kind of stopped. I need to pick it back up. I gotta go get my guitar from my parents' house. I gotta get it from my parents' house and start playing again. The reason why I didn't quite like playing was because I hated getting those calluses. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I hated getting those calluses on my hands because I like to be super dainty. You know what I mean? I like to be super, super dainty, and calluses, they just kind of ruin the daintiness of my hands. But they're definitely needed if you're going to be playing guitar, because let's be so for real, when you first pick it back up, like literally, like your hands will feel like they're on fire. If you do like a really good jam session, you practice a lot, your fingers are going to feel like they're on fire until you get those calluses. So they're definitely necessary, but I like to have like soft, dainty hands. And soft and dainty are not something that you would, those aren't adjectives you would use to describe calluses on your hands. Like, let's be for real. Let's see. So, thank you so much. So, I was about to, y'all, I literally just blended Much and Mark together. Thank you so much, Mark Kindle. You said great combo, ladies. I'm subscribed to all of you. That's awesome. Yeah, I knew DeeDee obviously, and then I knew Carmen Jaycee. So I knew those two ladies. The other three ladies, I didn't know them until that night. So I was a little bit like unsure, because it's like when you're gonna go do a panel, you want to know who you're talking to. You want to do a little bit of research on who you're talking to. So I didn't get around to doing that, but it worked out in my favor because all the ladies were really sweet, and everyone had their own perspective. Excuse me, everyone had their own perspective or angle at looking at different things, but we all kind of agreed that we want these problems to be solved, and that it's going to take work. So, there wasn't any loser behavior on the panel, which was awesome. Now, I know for like entertainment value, you know, for it to be like super shocking and clickbaity, you know, more than times than not, people will want somebody that's on the panel that's going to crash out or say something crazy, or for there to be some kind of like back and forth where there's like a disagreement. But I think that the panel was like super chill, and we were able to talk about a lot of different things without it getting like that. So I think that was really good. Let's see. Andrew, you said white savior be like, my fellow Negroes, I'll save you, just vote blue. Right. How many years of voting blue do we have to do for us to get saved? Like, let's be so for real. It's insane to me. You know what I'm talking about? Like how many years, how many decades do we have to vote blue to finally see some some changes within the community? It's like, and even if you look at heavily, Democrat ran cities, the blue that we're supposed to vote for, the cities are trash. Our people are living in squalor in those cities. You talking about vote for blue? Man, get out of my face with that. I hate to see it coming. I really hate to see it coming. Let's see. Um, yeah, I do like diversity of thought. Don't get me wrong. I do like diversity of thought. And it's like there are some people that you could have those conversations with where you don't agree, but it doesn't have to get like to 10. It doesn't have to devolve into trash talking or, just being disrespectful or anything like that. So, it really depends on the lot that you bring together. um and I don't have an issue with disagreeing with folks. It's just the moment they want to like cut you off, over talk you, and then complain when you talk back. Like, I can't do it. I really can't do it. Thank you so much, Visuals, for becoming a Faye, rejoining the Faye Gang. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, Swan Daily, for the $5 super. You said hot take, but I don't think the white saviors are the racists. Ooh, they just severely lack self-awareness. I think that they're unaware of how racist they are. So I think it's a blend between what you're saying and what I'm saying. So I definitely think they're racist. I just don't think they're aware that they're racist. They genuinely think that they're the good guy. Like, that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is that we all think we're the hero of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all think that we're the hero of the story. And so it's very hard for people to reconcile with the fact that bruh, you could be the villain. You're not always the hero of every story. Sometimes you're the villain, and they don't have that awareness to see when they are literally villainizing, um, black people and basically calling us stupid. I will bring this example up until the day I die. The fact that they were trying to get out here and say that black people were so slow that we couldn't get IDs, even though every black person I knew had a damn ID, and if they needed an ID, they could go get an ID. They literally got out here and told the world, the black people, the black Americans, we can't have voter ID because of the blacks. We got to look out for the blacks. You know they're too stupid to get IDs. And I'm just like, are you effing kidding me? Are you kidding me? And so, it's under the guise of trying to help black folks and all this other stuff. But, I don't care if your intentions are good. If the outcome is trash, I could give a fuck about your intentions. Because if your intentions are good and you don't put in the work to make sure that your actions match your intentions, then it's like, what's the point? What's the point? It's a half-ass attempt. And it's like, I'd rather you not do anything at all than to half-ass something. Like, let's be so for real. Let's see. Yeah, so if you guys, oh, my daughter, she's throwing a little tantrum. Um, if you guys didn't know, so I was on the panel last night for DeeDee's reactions, and I had to step away for a little bit. So there was a chunk, like about 50 or some minutes, that I was kind of gone. So I did want to kind of like react to what they talked about while I wasn't there and kind of give my perspective on it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Actually has a chance to restore, but I do have to drop out for a little bit. If you guys are still going, then I'll rejoin, but if not, it's very nice talking to you ladies. Y'all are awesome.
Same. Thank you, Sandra.
You are awesome as well.
And I also think that the terrorist sometimes is the mother. Sometimes the mom and the grandma, Geraldine and Joyce, they are the terrorists.
Candy and her family.
Yeah, it starts at the top. Right. Sometimes, so you got to clean your own house. Sometimes y'all have fires in your own house. That's why the kids is running outside trying to get away from the fires. They just running into more fires. Right. I mean, nobody wants to address the women when it comes to this. Just because she got on a skirt, I mean, your mama's a terrorist. She tearing up the family. She's a tornado. I mean,
you're totally right.
That's your leader. When that's your leader, when your mom is turning all the siblings against each other, your mom is gossiping all through the family. Your mom is rooting for you to lose. That's real. I've seen moms have sons that have wives, and they instantly don't like the wives because that's their son husband. I mean,
don't go there.
Oh my God!
That mother. The mother is a tornado, man. Sometimes some fires got to be put out. And the fires start with Geraldine. I'm telling you, it does.
But look, oh my God, listen, and this is some real, what you speaking is real life. Is it in my family? I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that. But they're afraid to address the matriarchy. They're afraid to address their mothers and the grandmothers who gave them all this bad advice, first off. And then the ones who act just like you just say, nobody wants to address it. If you say anything, you're the bad guy. You're the bad person for bringing it up or even address. You can't, you're being disrespectful if you were to, question that. You can't question the matriarch of the family. You can't do it, or you're going to be shunned for life.
I call them the untouchables. I call them out of women.
You can't question them though. Like you can't. You know what? They raised their children to not question them, to think that they're always right. And this is why you do see that with the sons. And the sons, like I saw something, Tony Sotomayor, I think is his name, and he was just speaking to these women is the ones that let these, boys sell drugs and come in their house and buy the loose sofas. And they're the ones that, when the football players, they go to the league, the first thing they want to do is buy their mama a house. Their mama set them up like that for that, because guess what? She ain't got no man. Okay. Your father left her, and then she didn't turn you against your father and turned you into your father so you could provide for her. And that's exactly what happens when it comes to these women. These women are the problem, and they're the ones that's raising killers. So who the real killer? You raising them. And I think that, like, when she said that you gotta clean out the gangs, you can't clean out the gangs because you're gonna have to knock off black women too, because they ain't gonna let you. Those are they babies.
Oh.
And
The
they
lady
babies are
in
killing each other.
Chicago,
It really is.
the mother
It's
in
really like that.
Chicago that was talking about the school, since you were talking about the gangs, she said, when I was growing up, I was GD crazy.
Oh,
I
And
God.
saw that
then
too.
as she was talking, she said, I'm still GD crazy. And I'm like, oh, so that's that gang culture. So now she done went from a jit to a grown woman, and she's still like the same kind of boys, which is why her sons are beating up mothers trying to walk their kids home from school.
And see, that was a really good point that they brought up about mothers, okay? Because it's like, who's raising the deviance within society, right? Who's raising the deviance within society? And it's like they're not just popping up out of nowhere. It starts at home, because it's like, yes, babies and children, they have different temperaments. That's true. They have different temperaments, but that doesn't mean that your child has to be a menace just because they have, a specific temperament. No, it all comes from nurturing, right? So, I think that if we were to try to fix these different problems that we have in the community, absolutely, we have to get the matriarch, because, unfortunately, a lot of families, they operate on the matriarch. We have to get the matriarch on board. And I kind of mentioned this at the end of that live stream that, as much as we want to say, oh, men should fix it, specifically, we're talking about Black relationships, oh, Black men need to fix it. Here's the problem. If they try to fix it, are y'all going to fight them the entire way, or are you going to get on board? Are you going to be part of the solution, or are you going to sit over there and fight them every step of the way and make getting to the solution harder? And see, that's the part. You can ask men left, right, and center to fix the problem. But if you're not going to allow them to fix it by stepping out of the way and following the protocol, then what do you expect? Like, what exactly do you expect? You can't expect the solution to actually work and take hold. So that's the part. That's the part. I think it's going to be work on both ends, right? Men and women, we need to come together to fix these problems. But like I said, you have to also be willing to work with the program. You will never find something that is successful where everyone is infighting the entire time. It doesn't work that way. The moment you are fighting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, it's just, you're not going to be able to hone in on a real solution and have people put their full effort toward that solution. So it's quite unfortunate. And oh, Dada's coming back. He went to the gas station. It's okay. He went to the gas station. Hold on, you guys. My daughter, she she is definitely a daddy's girl. Like, that man can't leave the house for nothing. He can't leave the house to go get gas. He can't leave the house to go put the garbage bin back in the garage. He can't do anything without my daughter having a whole meltdown because he left. She is definitely a daddy's girl. But he's going to be back shortly. Poor baby. Poor baby. Try to comfort her as much as I can, but she wants that dada. She definitely wants her dada. What's so funny is that, like, she is definitely a daddy's girl, and then my son, he is definitely a mama's boy, because I walk into the room and immediately, if he was perfectly fine before, like just chilling, having a good old funky time, the moment I make eye contact, right? The moment I make eye contact with him, he starts whining and trying to crawl to me. It's so funny. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, it's just we have to start with at least on an individual level, we need to start with ourselves. But if we're looking at the macro, women need to get this ship in order, because a lot of us are the ones running the home, you know, taking care of the kids. Now, there was something I wanted to mention. I didn't get to mention it on the stream or after the stream, but Red Talk, I was, for the life of me, trying to figure out who she sounded like. I was literally sitting there, like, while I was on stream, and then afterwards, I was, like, literally sitting there, like, dang, she sounds exactly like somebody I just heard or listened to. And I was, like, racking my brain, and then it finally hit me. She sounds like Niecy Nash. Like, she sounds like a younger version of Niecy Nash. I don't know if you guys heard I don't know if you guys heard it in her voice, but she sounds like Niecy Nash, the lady with the hat. Let me see. Highway 20, you said, Sandra, a YouTuber named Grown Men Talking had a panel show earlier. You think I should review it? A woman that was on the show is the very topic you are touching on now. Ooh, that sounds juicy. The messiness in me. Let me see if I can find it. Grown Men Talking. So it's the Grown Men Talking, and the woman was on the panel. I don't know. If I see a panel called Grown Men Talking, I'm gonna think that there's only grown men talking, not grown women. Oh, that poor baby. That poor baby. Bella, Dada just went to the gas station. He will be right back, baby girl. She is going through it. My poor baby. Let's see. Ooh, why do you choose these type of men? Is that the stream? Why do you choose these type of men? We can definitely look that up and look at it afterwards. Let me go see if I can redirect my daughter. Redirect her to happy thoughts, because she is just losing it. It's okay, baby. I think a good hug. Hi. Say hi. Hi. I don't know if you guys heard that little faint hi. Say hello. Hello. Oh, my poor baby. She's so precious. Yeah, she just wants to be held. That's fine. She's a baby. Well, she's not a baby. She's a toddler. But, you know, this is what I'm talking about. You got to give your babies and your toddlers all the affection and all the attention that they need, so that when they become adults, they're not looking for that attention from somebody else. Not that type of attention. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. But yeah, Red Talk, she sounds like Niecy Nash. I was just like, oh my God. Like, when I finally figured it out, it hit me like a pile of bricks. I was like, she sounds like Niecy freaking Nash. Yeah. My son's over there playing with his toys, so now he's being vocal. But let's go ahead and get back into their discussion.
That is so sad. That made me so
Women are not tired
mad.
of burying their children yet. They're not tired of burying their children. At this point, I think that they're okay with it. They'll rather their children die than to do something different. They'll rather their children die in the streets. Like, most people probably don't know, like, when you get Section 8 and you get funding from government, you don't have to stay in the city. You can move anywhere in the country with your Section 8. And a lot of people don't know that, but you really can't. And these people will sit there and manipulate you and tell you that, oh, I can't afford to leave and I can't afford this. No, they just don't want to. I'm telling you, they can afford it. They got all the BBLs. I know that they can afford it. I'm telling you, they can afford it. They get their taxes every year. They buy cars. They go do all this expensive stuff. They take trips. Well, how do you think they're taking these trips? How do you think that they're out the country? These girls go out the country more than I do. I don't even go out the country. They are everywhere. They got their nails done all the time. They got their hair done all the time. They can change things they don't want to. That's why you seen them all in the panic when it came to the EBT being cut off. You get to see who the brokies are when they turn off that EBT and they take them stamps away and they take that Section 8 away. You see who's complaining. And that's what it really boils down to. These women want their children to be losers, essentially. And if you look at the Willie Lynch letter, the Willie Lynch letter describes exactly this about the Black woman, about how she's going to be hyper dependent, and she's going to raise basically strong, stupid kids. They'll be strong, but they'll be stupid.
And wasn't that what we were looking at yesterday? Hold on one second. All right, I had to go grab my son. We've been letting him roam free, you guys, and so you got to keep an eye on him when they're roaming free. Because I mean, we baby proofed the house as much as we could, but there's only so much baby proofing you can do. But you know, to the point that they were talking about, that's the part that really pisses me off, is that we'll get out here and we'll talk about how, you know, Black Lives Matter, but when it comes right down to it, we don't even value our own lives. Let's be so for real. Like, how many kids have to die because of violence amongst their peers? How often does that have to happen for us to finally take it seriously? Let me turn my fake cam. Okay. Hey, y'all. You know, how often does that have to happen before we start valuing our own lives? Like, that's the part that I just don't get. And it reminds me of, you know, what we were talking about yesterday, how we looked at, not yesterday, it was like Thursday or something, how we looked at Detroit, and, you know, the people there, they were all covered in bullet hole wounds, stab wounds, strung out on drugs. Just, you know, the one woman, she was talking about how her grandbaby was murdered and then her son is in prison. And I'm just like, you know, y'all really will sit over here and deflect to everything else, but want to fix these problems that are directly affecting your fellow Black people. If you want to say that Black Lives Matter, you want to say that you care about Black lives, then why not start where you can see a difference, or where you can create a difference? Because if you're saying we have this system of white supremacy, then why don't we start with what we can fix? This is, you know, this is kind of like similar to what we're talking about as far as like cleaning your room. I think it's like Jordan Peterson, and he doesn't have to be, you know, a perfect person for him to have said something that's correct. When it comes to, you know, trying to change something for the better, you have to start with things that are within your control. So when you have lost all control over a situation or your situation, they tell you to start small. Start by making your bed every single day. Okay, and we could take that same logic with the Black community and start making our bed every day. Start with the things that are within our control, and then from there progress further into the things that are more difficult to do, that would fix our community, fix the situations that we're in. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much, Mrs. Smell the Roses. Thank you so much, sis. By the way, I have all of the ladies linked in the description below. Okay, I have all the ladies linked in the description below. Well, at least they should have been linked. Why isn't the hyperlink working? Let me fix that, because I had the hyperlink set up. I don't know why it's not doing that. Give me a second. Let me fix that. I want to make it as easy as possible to follow all of the ladies. Okay, follow them all. Let me fix that really quick. All right. Okay. All right. Those hyperlinks should be fixed. They should be fixed. So I have everyone linked in the description. So definitely go and show all the ladies that were on the panel some love. We had some really good conversations. So You know, I want us to support each other because look, here's the thing. You know, we could talk till we're blue in the face about all these different problems, but if it's only a few of us talking about it, or only a few of us getting the attention that's needed to make these issues to make these issues aware to everybody, and also to change the perspective and the way of thinking, you know, we can only reach so far. So it's important to support all of the ladies, all of the men. Specifically, we're talking about the issues within our society, our culture. You know, it's important that we all come together and amplify each other's voices, right? So definitely check out all the ladies. Thank you again for the 1999 super sticker. It's very sweet of you. Let's see. Let's see. Highway 20, you said, damn, Sandra, this coincides with the lady on the panel I was talking about, cussing out her kids to make their bed. Damn. Oh, buddy. Bella, get from underneath your dad-ass desk. You know you're not supposed to be over there. All right, give me a second. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Back. I had to go take care of my buddy. He wanted me to pick him up. Uh, yeah. See, even with this, look, these single mothers got me effed up. Even with something like this, y'all. I'm struggling. Justin's just going to go get some gas in the tank, and I'm over here struggling for my life, trying to keep everything together while also, you know, getting some work in. So look, let's be so for real here. Uh, let's not hype up single motherhood, because this is difficult if you're by yourself, even for a little bit. You know, moments like this remind me of why I am so grateful. Buddy, you can't eat my necklace. You can't eat my necklace, baby. Moments like this, you know, make me just so grateful that I have Justin, because when he's not here, I definitely feel it. I definitely feel it. Let's be so for real. He's trying so hard to like eat my necklace. I don't know what it is about like children. I know this is how they learn, but they just want to put everything in their mouth. Like, buddy, it's a necklace. It's not food. He just sees it and it's shiny and he just wants to nibble on my necklace. All right, baby girl. Baby girl, play with Buddy. Oh, your dad has home. Dad has home. Yeah, she is definitely a dad-ass girl, because she don't want him going anywhere without him. Like, he can't go anywhere without his daughter. But yeah, you know, I really think that there are women within our community that they're just hell bent on destruction. And that's the sad part. You know, as much as we want to hope for the best, all of that, it's not going to get better until the hyenas within the community get some act right. And that's the unfortunate part, is that we have to compensate for the ones that are the weakest links. Okay, the weakest links, we have to compensate for them and try to figure out a way to maneuver around them and their poor choices. Because it's like, we live in society, and if black people are typically living amongst other black people, and you have black folks that are out here, you know, being menaces to society and terrorizing other black folks that aren't trying to be menaces to society, we're the ones who are going to suffer. So that's why I will never understand this turn a blind eye, pretend like it doesn't exist, or just, you know, pretending like she's playing with her brother, and pretending like, you know, these problems don't exist, or that they are all because of white people. Like, it's so exhausting, because, you know, we're not actually going to get into any solutions if we keep that mindset, if we keep that same loser behavior. And like I said, we have society, so, you know, it's going to affect you regardless. I hate whenever I post a video that's critiquing our community, you will have people in the comment section that will say, well, it's not bothering you. it doesn't affect you. And I'm like, well, yes, it does, because we have a society. Those gremlins that attacked baby girl, you know, you're not supposed to be under Dada's desk. We, you know, thinking about what happened in Chicago, right? Oh, it doesn't affect us. You should mind your business. It doesn't affect us. Well, guess what? That piss poor parenting, it most certainly affected that mother and her children. We have a society, okay? So regardless if you want to acknowledge it or not, our lives are interconnected in some way, shape, or form. So this, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother you. It's not going to hurt you. That's nonsense, because unless you are going to be a hermit and stay inside your house for the rest of your life, you're not going to be out there in the streets with the rest of anybody. Unless that is the situation that you are going to put yourself in, understand, yes, your choices do affect the rest of us. Now, I don't extend that to every single thing, right? But for a lot of different things, yes, your choices are affecting me, just like my choices are affecting you. So that's just something to keep in mind. But let's get back into the conversation the ladies were having. They were cooking.
They'll just do whatever the system tells them to do, because they are products of the system. She is a product of the system, and you can see the black men, they're doing better than the black woman. They even raise children better than black women. And black women don't want to hear this. If you want to do the best thing for your children, then give it to the man. I'd rather them raise the children on their own than to give it to a black woman.
Ooh. Now, I've heard that sentiment before too. You know, where it's like the fathers need to start having more custody. And honestly, I feel like that would solve a lot of different problems, right? You know, that would stop all this using the child as a pawn, because more times than not, when you see a child being used as a pawn, it's by the mother. More times than not. Not always, but more times than not, it's usually the mom using the child as a pawn against the father. Not only that, you know, the men who are laying up with these babies, you know, laying up and having these babies, like they have to catch them all with all these different women having 5, 6, 7, 10 baby mamas. You know, if they had to sit there and take care of all those babies, if they started getting custody of those babies and the law down their throat to make sure that they're taking care of those babies, guess what? They're going to stop spreading their seed far and wide. They'll have some act right in that situation as well. So, you know, I really want us to understand it. Actually, that would solve a lot of other problems too, because a lot of times when you get on those government assistances, they get more assistance the more children that they have. So if you're not even going to have the children to claim the government assistance, then guess what? Guess what? That shit gonna dry right up. It's gonna dry right up. And not only that, you know, when you're thinking about like the father in the home, men are more capable of keeping their kids safe. Now, I'm talking about healthy men. I'm not talking about predators. I'm not talking about predatory women or predatory men. We're just going to go the baseline of a healthy male or a healthy woman or female, to keep it on the same, you know, terminology. When it comes to protection and safety, you know, if somebody's going to break into the house, would you rather the father there or the mother there? More times than not, it's much safer if the father is there, because he's more equipped to fight back. He's more equipped to save. So there's also that. Thank you so much, Swan Daily, for the $5 super. He said, just a reminder that BLM logos were all over NBA courts was that 2020? Yet it seems like black issues are worsening now. The term YN was coined recently. Facts. Absolutely. That is absolutely true. You know, it's just like what I was saying earlier about vote blue no matter who. Y'all be voting for blue and your situation keeps getting more effed up. When are they going to actually give you resources that fix your problems, or they finally clean up your streets, or just whatever the case may be that your community needs to thrive? When will they actually do that? Y'all been voting blue for these mofos, and they have yet to deliver on any of their promises. They keep dangling the carrot of prosperity, and y'all keep following them. And that's the part that's so disheartening. It's like, when are y'all gonna wake up to the fix? And I'm not saying that the Republicans are much better. I'm saying, like, be aware. And I hate that the term woke was just, bastardized all the way to hell, because I remember what it used to mean. So be aware of the fix wherever it is, okay? Don't take anyone's side face value. You need to be side-eyeing every single thing, because more times than not, a lot of these major corporations, a lot of these major groups, a lot of these major entities, all they want to do is screw you. Okay, it's not a genuine conversation. It's nothing more than, how can I screw you more? How can I squeeze you for more money? How can I be in a more superior position than you? It's just, that's what they do. So the moment you buy into it, guess what? They're going to play you like a fool. And then they're going to use you to attack other people who aren't moved by their arguments. So that's just something to keep in mind, because it's like, a lot of these different people, whether they are Republican or Democrat, a lot of them don't give a damn about one of us. Okay, so I'm not going to throw the cape on for either. But I am going to be honest. I do have a heavier bias against the Democrats, because growing up, you're told that's the party for the black people. But when you wake up and you start noticing that they ain't done except make black lives worse, then it pisses you off even more, because it's like, the snake I know versus the person pretending like they're not a snake, but they turn out to be a snake. I'm sorry, the person who was playing like they weren't a snake, I'm going to be more upset with you because you played in my face. It's like that song. It's like that song, Smiling Faces. Okay, the Democrats are those people that smile in your face whole time they're wanting to stab you in the back. And that's the part. That is definitely the part. Let's see. Highway 20 said, Sandra, the counter argument from women would be the father didn't want to raise their children. Look, if daddy government comes in and says you about to raise these kids, your ass going to prison, I bet you some of these men will step up and they will raise their kids. And not only that, a lot of times, and it's not all the time, but a lot of the times, the moms be alienating the child from the father. Not every time, but there are situations where the mom is alienating. Like, I saw this video, it was relatively recently, where the mom was going on this whole entire tirade, talking about how she's been talking to the son, and, let me see. Talking about how she's been talking to the son, and he knows how his daddy ain't ish, and he doesn't like his dad. Like, these are things that she was saying to the baby father. Well, he don't even like you, and he knows who you are, and all sorts of stuff. So you've been sitting here talking to his son, trying to turn his son against him, and it's like, what are you doing? Why would you ever allow that to happen? So I never understood that. The father of your children, if you chose to lay up with him, then you should at least be able to give him the respect as being the father of your children. I don't give a damn. Okay, I don't give a damn. I'm not going to be out here. Me and Jessica have the worst breakup ever. Me and Justin could have the absolute worst breakup ever. I'm still not gonna get out in these streets and ever disrespect that man. He is still the father of my children. He is still the father of my children. And there has to be a level of respect there. And if you yourself, don't want to give that respect, or this, that, and the third, then why are you laying up with them and giving them babies in the damn first place? That's the part. That's the part. So, it's crazy. I really think that given the father's custody, that could help. That definitely could help. Highway 20, you said alienation is beneficial. They want him to pay child support without him getting any custody. I don't agree with, I agree with your point. What I'm saying is I don't agree with that type of system. You can't ask me for money and then say I can't see my damn kid. You out your mother trucking mind. That's crazy work.
Sorry, and then the ones that y'all don't even keep, the one y'all killing them in your stomach. Like, okay, why did you have the baby then? Y'all believe in, y'all so pro-choice. Why did you have the baby if you're going to be a loser parent? I don't get it. I don't get it.
because I always say women like baby, they love babies, they don't like kids. And the court systems, giving the women all the advantage over the kids. You know, we're gonna have a problem. Like I said before, we got little boys that's sitting on the toilet while they pee. You got little boys sitting on the couch while their mama cut the grass.
There are things that as a woman, I wouldn't even know to teach my son. Like, let's be so for real here. I was literally having a conversation with my mom earlier today, and she was talking about something that had to do with my nephew. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know you had to do that. So it's like, I have a son, you know, and especially when it comes to like, you know, certain hygiene that comes with like the different parts and things like that, you're not going to know all the intricacies if you're not that. I'm not a man, you know. I am not a man. So there are a lot of things that I just do not know about. So not having a man in the house to teach your son how to even properly wash himself or keep himself clean, like that is going to put him at a detriment, you know. We get out here and we talk about how these men are sassy, but guess what? Who are they raised by? And what do you expect? They were raised by their mamas, so expect them to be sassy. Expect them to engage the same way that women do. If the main people that were in their lives influencing them, being their role models, are all sassy women. Okay, you can't expect him to just naturally just be this thing if you've given him counter programming his whole life that went against his nature. So that's why a lot of these men are having, you know, that were growing up in these environments. That's why they have so much inner turmoil, because their inner biology is fighting against their nurturing. And so it just creates this dysfunction. And we wonder why the mental health among Black men is shot all the way to hell. Okay? It's because your biology of being a man is at war with your nurturing and your upbringing. So you're having these biological feelings because our hormones play a lot into the way we feel and the way we respond to things. So if you have that biological urge to do something, or that biological urge to be a certain way, but then you're taught from a very young age, brainwashed from a very young age to go against that, you're going to be having internal battle over and over and over and over again, and it's going to be very difficult to reconcile with that. So that's something that people don't think about. Yes, the men are going to grow up and be sassy because they were raised by sassy broads. It's inevitable.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
They can't raise men. That's what it boils down
No,
to. They
they
can't
can't.
raise men. They can barely raise surviving children. So
Yeah, I mean, and then they're having children as leverage in a sense. Like, oh, you know, you're gonna get some more government assistance. I've seen it. You know, you have all these children by all these different men because, oh, they're gonna give you a little bit more on the assistance, and it's still not a whole lot, but still it's like leverage to them. They're not prepared to raise these children for real, but they just want, you know, the benefits that come with it. But I think there's a whole lot of reasons as to why I think a lot of these women are having these children. Either, you know, but it's not for the right reasons. It's not because you want a family and really raise. You know, that's why these children are not reading on the levels that they should. They're not educating them properly. A host of things that's going wrong with these kids, and they don't care. They still run around trying to be Cardi B. Like, come on.
A lot of times they was just horny.
That too. And then they and then I mean yeah, they're just out here busting it open for whoever. They don't.
And see, here's another part, right? Here's another part. A lot of these broads, they want to lay up and have babies because they want to be the center of attention. Okay, they want to be. It's almost like, you know, the new prom for grown adults is having a baby shower, right? It's like, I want to be the center of attention. People cater to me when I'm pregnant. You know, I get to have all these accolades, all of this, that, and the third, whoop-de-whoop. And it's just like, No, having a child is way different. Like, it's not about the damn baby shower. That's literally just a moment to gather resources for that child. But if you're not going to take the time to, when they're at school age, checking their homework, asking them what they learned at school today, monitoring what they are interacting with online, being involved in their upbringing. If you're not going to do that, then yeah, why are you laying up and having these kids in the first place? Okay, so it's all about, the highlights and not about the hard work that goes into those highlights, right? So they'll be excited for the gender reveal. They'll have these outrageous parties for the gender reveal. They have all these outrageous parties for the baby shower, which I personally don't have an issue with the baby shower because it's about getting those resources. But there has to also be conversations. If it's a situation where you're having the baby alone, then yeah, we need to have some hard conversations. And maybe we don't have a baby shower. Maybe we just get you the resources without the celebration, because the man you laid up and had that baby with is not even in the picture. Maybe we do something like that, because I'm not going to say that those resources should not be available to those babies. At the end of the day, I want the babies to be well fed. I want them to have diapers. I want the babies to be taken care of, because just because the mom and the dad ain't shit doesn't mean that the baby shouldn't have something. But maybe we don't celebrate you. Maybe it's not a party. It's more so I just ship you the goods, or I drop the goods off at your house and we call it a day. But, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, because children, they require so much nurturing. And it's like, why would you lay up and have a kid and you're not willing to put in that work to actually nurture them? It's like it's like they pass the buck off on raising their kids to the damn school. They pass the buck off to the school to raise their kids. But then here's the kicker. When their kid acts a damn fool at the school, I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but when the kid acts a damn fool at the school, then they up there at the school cussing out the teacher. Well, you not finna tell my son this. You not finna tell my daughter that. She didn't do this. She didn't do that. Knowing good and damn well, whatever that teacher said your child did, they most likely did. So, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Like, it's just like, you want to have these babies almost like an accessory, or to have access to resources. It's like you want to have access to resources through the government. That's why you laying up and catching them all. Okay, gotta catch them all, baby daddy edition. And it's like, it's not going to serve you the way that you think it is. Let's be so effing for real. And it's just like, they don't care. They really do not care. It doesn't matter to them, because having a child is more about the accessory than it is about the child or their well-being. That's why you have these parents that their kid is out there roaming the streets and they have no clue and they don't care. They're too busy popping it on IG or TikTok. They're too busy out there in the club. They're too busy doing everything under the sun except being a mother, being a father, because they view the kids as either a pawn against the father, or resource to get money from the government, or just an accessory to look cute. They don't actually care about raising them. They don't care about making sure that they're intelligent or, going to be productive human beings after they leave school. So it's crazy work. Let's see, Danny B, you said crazy take. They do over the top gender reveals and baby showers because they know they won't be having a wedding. We love to celebrate some shit. We love to celebrate. Every chance we get, we trying to celebrate everything. But, it's unfortunate. It's absolutely unfortunate. And yeah, like I've definitely heard that take before, that they do all this because they're not going to have, and honestly, even if they were going to have it, they'd still do these over the top everything, because it's like, we got to turn every damn thing into a party. Every single thing has to be some kind of party, it has to be some over the top nonsense. Like, it's always going to be that, which is crazy work. Let's see. Ozzy, what's up? You said they'll say they care, and maybe to an extent they do, but not enough to put in the hard effort. Well, if that happens, then that means you don't care. That means you don't care. Caring is putting in the effort. When you're not putting in the effort, then you don't care. When I care about something, I'm thinking about it every single day. I'm putting in effort to keep it going every single day. I'm doing the damn thing every single day because it's something that I am prioritizing. You have to understand, a lot of these women are not prioritizing their family. They're not prioritizing their children. Okay, they're prioritizing everything under the sun but that. So, it's no surprise. It smells like Justin's cooking something. I don't know. It smells a little burnt. I might have to go in that kitchen and check up on something. He might be making like a grilled cheese or something. Justin.
No, because you're fine.
Justin, if you wanted me to make you a sandwich and do it for you, I could have did it for you.
No, you should.
Dang. Bread is usually brown. That thing black. Babe, Justin, I'm gonna fix that for you.
No, I'm better than you. And you know that.
That sandwich is telling a completely different story, my love.
Yeah, it's just me having children. Okay, that's what that is.
Well, us having children.
No, me having children.
Okay, Justin. I'm gonna make you a makeup sandwich, okay? I'm gonna make you a makeup sandwich. I usually do all the cooking and stuff for him, so he's a little rusty. That's all that is. He's just a little rusty. Cause I've been doing all the cooking. Okay, cooking is like a muscle. You have to exercise it. If you don't do it for a little bit, then you gotta.
I taught this woman how to cook.
He did not teach me how to cook. I've been cooking.
I taught you how to do the shrimp.
What?
I taught you how to do rice.
What?
I taught you how to do all that.
That's
Yeah.
not true.
Yes, I did.
That's literally not true. Justin, I've been cooking since I was a minor.
So am I.
I've been then how'd you teach me if I was a minor cooking and we didn't even know each other existed?
Did I not teach you the rice?
You didn't teach me the rice. I knew how to make rice. I was just nervous when I was first here. That's all that was. I had performance anxiety. And I get
What
that.
about shrimp?
The shrimp, I taught myself how to do the shrimp. I'm the one who started doing it, cooking it the way that
What
I
about
cook it.
scallops?
I've never cooked scallops.
I cooked them for you.
Yeah, but I've never cooked scallops, so we can't compare. How we gonna compare some shit I didn't cook?
Don't be dissing me now.
I'm not dissing you. I'm really not. I'm saying that I'm going to redo your sandwich for you.
I told you to have a cook-off.
Hey, we could have a cook-off, but we have to be given the same list of ingredients. Okay? And we have to get like hot plates and all that stuff so we can like set it up. It has to be a production if we gonna do it. I'm gonna bust out some homemade stuff you ain't ever heard. You ain't never heard. You'd be like, how the hell you make that? Don't let me get access to my KitchenAid now.
You need the whole KitchenAid to cook.
First of all, I don't need it. It just makes it faster. So I don't know if we want to do a stream where I'm sitting here kneading something for 20 minutes. Okay? So I have to be efficient. That KitchenAid, it's efficient. Okay? Talking about I am the captain. You've been the captain, honey. You've been the captain. I ain't never said I was the captain of this ship. No. I just said I was the chef. I didn't say I was the captain. Let's get back into the stream.
Oh, they're not thinking about their actions. And this is why when you call it out, they're so mad and angry. They want to fight. Like, what you mean? Like you there's no real explanation for your choices. Yeah, we all grown and you can make your own choices. But I mean, if you're posting your foolishness on social media and I get to see it and I have an opinion on it and it's against what you believe, that ain't my fault. That's your fault. You should have been more careful about your choices and how you're looking and what you're presenting on social media. Nobody would know that you got 5 baby daddies and all of this and struggling if you didn't post it. You post it on social media so people get to have an opinion about it. And now that you don't like the opinion, somehow it's my problem. I'm a pick me because I see the foolishness or your behavior. So
And that's always been so stupid to me. It's like the moment you put something out there publicly, guess what? People can publicly scrutinize you. And I keep that same energy for myself. You know, there have been some diss tracks. Now, unfortunately, they're no longer online because I was sure as hell, I would react to them in front of you guys, like if they were still there. I remember this Samoan dude. This Samoan dude, he did a diss track on me, and I think it was like 2 separate videos where he was like going in on me, and it was very incoherent. Like it was so weird. It was very incoherent, but it was hilarious to me. But he was like saying Sandra Faye, like it was just so funny. It was so funny, you guys. And then there was this other guy. He made a diss track. He made like a couple different videos about me because I was really involved in like a different YouTuber's community, and he got mad because we were all roasting him in the chat. He got upset, and so he started trying to make videos about us, and he was making videos about me. It was really weird. It was very odd. Just a very odd Pookie Ray Ray. He seemed a little bit slow too. And Justin, you probably know exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah. Remember that dude who was like obsessed with Lucas? He was like obsessed with him. Like literally his entire channel was dedicated to hate videos. Okay, I guess maybe that was before we started talking. But it was so weird. It was so weird. And then this other YouTuber who had like over 100,000 subs, he came in the chat and he said something stupid. And look, this is the part that you have to understand. When you get into these live streams, especially a well-established live stream, the chat is going to have a culture. Okay, there's going to be a way in which the regulars talk to each other and hang out and kiki. In Lucas, amazing Lucas, if you guys didn't know, in his chat, basically the vibe there was roast or be roasted. Like we literally would just roast each other left and right. And it was some of the funniest ever. Like we would literally be in there just talking trash to each other. And so when somebody new comes in and they are not socially aware enough to pick up on the vibe, that we could be sitting here roasting each other and be cool, then you're going to sit over here and get offended. So that's exactly what happened. He got into his feelings and then he got offended. And, you know, I know how to talk a lot of shit, okay? So this was before I got delivered by Justin, okay? So I was in there talking a lot of shit, and it was funny. It was very funny, but he got offended and he made a whole video about Lucas and then mentioned me in the video, even though he couldn't remember my name. He definitely was talking about me and was just in his feelings. He was just so hurt. And it was just so funny. But I'm not against people doing videos or reacting to or having a disagreement or whatever the heck may be. Because guess what? If I'm going to get on these here YouTubes and react to other people and give my perspective on other people, guess what? I'm free game for people to give their perspectives on me. I'm not going to sit over here and engage in a behavior and then chastise somebody else for doing the exact same thing just because it's being done to me and my talking points. So, you know, I hate when people do that. They're like, well, why are you guys making videos about me? It's just like that broad. It's just like that broad that I reacted to like a week ago, who got on here and was telling us about how she ain't talked to her husband in 2 weeks. And then she got mad that people were commenting, even though she asked them, you know, am I wrong? Am I wrong? And then got mad at them when they told her, yes, you're wrong. So it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And now you see as the parents are getting older now, right? So now they sit in nursing homes. You know, all the siblings are flipping coins, like who gonna go pick up dad or mom because they were bad parents. So they're wanting this good treatment, and you did not raise your kids right. You didn't even like your kids, and now you think they about to come get you and put you up in a room in their house, and you don't even like them. No, they don't. They're done with your
women screwed their kids up. Some of these women just screwed their kids right up, and
see, that's another thing. There are people out here who have kids just so that they have somebody to take care of them when they're old. That is a real thing. This one guy named Jerry Wise, he talks about this a lot on his channel. Shout out to him. By the way, this is going to be somebody that I've watched their content. He does a lot of really good videos about growing up with narcissistic parents. So, he'll talk about the different behaviors to look out for, how to differentiate from being in that situation. And, he's talked about that before, where it's like parents who have kids simply because they want somebody to take care of them in old age. So if you're struggling, or you grew up with narcissistic parents, or you feel like, your upbringing gave you a lot of trauma and things like that, definitely check out his channel, because his videos are very insightful, extremely insightful. And it's not from a standpoint of like hating your parents or anything like that, but more so understanding the behavior. Understanding the behavior and understanding how it affected you, and how to differentiate from it so that you can live a healthy life and not carry those traumas into your family. But yeah, there are parents that literally lay up and have kids just so that somebody can take care of them when they're old. And I think that is extremely toxic.
It could look like they did a good job. Like Kevin Durant mom, like screwed him right up, like he up there thinking it was my mom, and my mom made this possible. Like, no, like no, she didn't make this possible. I know that you're like, she took care of me, she did all that she could do, but no, she didn't make this possible. You got lucky, is what happened. You got lucky. And for you to try to give this like your mother all the praise as if like she is, oh, it was just her. No, 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 no. It was you. That you made it happen. You withstand your odds. She like it's not something that everyone is going to get. Most of these men that do get into the league and stuff, yeah, yeah, they're with single mothers, and they like what the guys say, you got to buy your single mother a house because what? She don't got a husband. If she had a husband, you wouldn't have to buy her a house, right?
Right.
But that's the first thing y'all got to do. And I'm so tired of them getting parties for being baby mamas. They celebrate.
And see, here's another part that goes along with that. A lot of these women, they'll lay up and have sons and then turn their sons into their husbands. That is some of the creepiest I've ever seen. Messy Michonne, she has a video. I think it's a members only video, so I'm not gonna pull it up. But she has a video where she's reacting to this chef. There was like this erotic black chef that was like going around and making like erotic meals for different women. And he would post it on his social media account. And he did a dinner where it was like a mother and a son. And the way the mother was dressed, it was like she was wearing lingerie. And it's like you're doing a dinner with your son. Like it was extremely romantic looking, and even the son had his like little baby chest out, and it was just weird. It was very odd. And even like the other like b-roll that she had of her licking the cake, like very sexualized. It's like that's in front of your son. A lot of these women, because they can't get a man, they figure they'll just raise one. And that's how you end up with all that creepy stuff that we've reacted to. Just like that other video we reacted to where the little boy walks up to the mom and is like, "Mommy, you look sexy." Like, it's just that type of weirdo, just loser behavior. Like, it's very creepy and disgusting. So they're not only raising their sons to be little, bitches just like them, little sassy niggas like them, but then also they're trying to raise them to be their little husbands. Okay, they want to get that affection that they want from a man. They figure they can kind of chin check their son into giving that to them. And so it makes sense that, they're looking for their son to buy them a house and to do all these different things that their husband, or at least their life partner, if you don't believe in getting married with the state, the person that you're supposed to be with and you're supposed to be spending your life with, your counterpart, is non-existent. So they're expecting their sons to give that to them. And that's disgusting as well. It's just like having kids so they can take care of you when you get old. It's disgusting across the board. Let's see. Is it last shin? I'm not sure. Having kids for the sole reason to take care of you is pathetic. It is as bad if you had them to have a spare organ donor for yourself. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Celebrate it. They throw parties for everything nowadays. Like these women, they celebrate anything. They celebrate being single. Like I'm back single, girl. Let's go out and go.
And their
It's like
divorces.
this is not
Those
Right.
parties. Yeah.
That's crazy.
right. Why are we celebrating you being single?
Right.
And it's just it's totally inverted. And that sisterhood, I'm telling you, if you're a sisterhood member, you are a detriment to society.
So what do
We
you
call it Order 66 or the gynocracy.
Oh
That's
God.
right.
So listen,
I've never heard that term before. Order 66 and who's that where she's gynostrophy or guy? I don't even know what that is. That's crazy.
so look. So what do y'all think about men, women, these single mothers trying to pressure men into dating them and taking them seriously? What's your thoughts on that? Should men be okay with dating, single mothers, 3 times single mothers, 400 pounds? You know what I'm saying? Like, should that be something they should be looking forward to?
All right, so here's my take on this. Look, if you don't have kids, then in most situations I wouldn't recommend that, right? Because it's like you don't have any kids, they have kids, they have somebody else that they're tethered to. That's going to be a situation that is going to be so foreign to you. It's going to make it so difficult for that relationship to thrive, especially if their other is extremely toxic and extremely like obsessed with them. So, when it comes to people who have kids and both people have kids, then I don't think it's a fair conversation to be like, well, I have 3 baby mamas. I ain't dating no woman with no baby dad. Like, that's your counterpart. Y'all both made silly choices. Like, this is your dating pool. Okay? The people who were out here being 3 times, 4 times baby mamas and baby daddies, y'all need to be dating each other because y'all are in the same effed up situation. Maybe y'all can figure it out. But as far as like trying to pressure men who don't have kids into marrying and taking seriously women that have multiple baby daddies, it's just, that's not logical to me. And I would never ask or say that a man should sign up for that type of baggage, especially, like I said, if you yourself do not have kids. And, to try to shame men into doing that, I think it's kind of sick. However, I would say that as far as from the community aspects, right? Because like I said, we do grow up in a society. We have a society. We live in the society. So as far as like, if you are a well-to-do man and you have a little bit of extra time on your hand, being a part of different organizations where you can be a mentor figure to the young men that are growing up with single moms, you never know. Your presence in their life could be what changes them from growing up to be exactly like a statistic, or growing up to be sassy, or growing up to be a woman beater, or growing up to be just a menace to society. You being a positive male influence into their life, not that you have to date their mom, but whether it's through the community center, or I don't even know if they still do Big Brothers or things like that. If you're able to do that, then that could be helpful to the society, because at the end of the day, these young boys are still going to grow up and they're going to be out here with the rest of us. So if you're able to influence them in a positive way, then I suggest doing that. Just like, women, if we're able to influence the little girls that don't have a quality mother, if we're able to influence them and show them a better way, then that is something that we can do that would create a net positive. But like I said, as far as like putting it on them, well, you have to date, you have to marry, absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. If you want to sign up for that, that's on you. But you have to vet that woman and make sure that she's not on some nonsense. Now, once you start having like 3 baby daddies and all sorts of stuff, I'm going to assume you are on some nonsense, because let's be for real. Once you get to number 2, them legs should be cemented closed. Okay, let's be for real. Them legs need to be cemented closed. Yeah, exactly. Big Brother program, volunteer coaches, youth programs. Like, that's where I would say that the men could step up to be there for the other little boys that are growing up, or the teenage boys that are trying to find their way. I wouldn't put that on you to date the mom, but I will say, if you have the time, if you yourself have your shit together, then being a good influence to the younger generation is good. It's a positive. Let's see. Big Red, you said, I disagree about taking care of your parents though. If you have good parents, it's a no-brainer to make sure they're good. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take care of your parents. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that the parents that become parents just so that someone can take care of them, just so that someone's there to clean their house, just so that someone's there to do all the stuff they don't want to do, that's toxic as hell. You can't just breed a slave. Like, it doesn't work that way. And yeah, if you have parents that took care of you, they did all things they were supposed to do as a parent, by all means, take care of them. I don't see myself putting my parents in a home or anything like that when they get older. I feel like if you have parents that did the best that they could and they really tried, and you have the resources to take care of them, then it seems like the right thing to do. But like I said, having kids for that purpose, that's where it becomes weird. It has to be like this selfless thing. I'm not going to be putting it on my kids to take care of me when I get older. I'm going to try my best to have my wits about me so that I'm not a burden onto my family. Like, I don't want to be a burden onto my family, but as far as having them just so they could take care of me, no, I want my kids to be out there living their best lives. You know what I mean? Like, I want my kids to be able to just go out, do whatever they have to do without being worried about, oh, well, mom, she slipped and fell and she broke her hip and I need to go do this for my mom. Da, 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 da. I can't go on that trip because my mom, like, I don't want to be a burden like that to my kids. I don't want to be, even if they wouldn't see it that way, that's how I would see it. Because it's like, you have all these different things that you want to do. I don't want you putting those things on hold because I'm old. Like, no, we're not doing that. You have limited time too. I want you to be able to enjoy your time as a grown ass adult. But it's just, there's balance to it. Let's see.
I think
No,
the people
it's
with them
not.
kids should date them people with the kids. People that have kids should date people with kids. That's what I
Yes.
think. I think the blended
I
family
strongly
thing
agree with
probably
that.
works best in those situations. But you're never like, a man is always going to choose a woman with no children over a woman with children. Okay.
Mhm.
And if you might find a liberal or like something that's like, oh, it's okay, but you're not going to get a man. You know, a real man do not want to deal with another man's children. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They don't want to deal with the household. Now, some men, I will say, will date a woman probably if she have one child and it's a simple situation and she's a different person and whatever. But men just simply don't want to have to deal with another man's children. They want a woman that can bear their children. They don't want to have a blended family. Like, I don't know.
But I talked about this not what was it? Not too long ago on Jeff St. James podcast, Ask a Brother podcast. Shout out to him. I saw him in the chat. The thing about it is even if a man with children accepts a woman with children, he's still going to have to take on the brunt and the financial load of her kids and plus her. Because so that's and I can see why most men wouldn't want to do that, even if he has kids, because typically, if he has kids, maybe from a previous marriage or relationship, those children probably live with the mother. And he's probably either paying child support or supporting his kids financially. To take on another woman with maybe 2-3 kids as well, those kids are going to live with him and her if they get together. So now he's got his kids plus hers. That's just and then the expectations on top of that from the woman. She probably doesn't understand how to work within a relationship or with the man. So she's expecting, the sisterhood Bonnie crew members price, like, pay everything. You need to make 6 figures. You need to pay for me and my kids. Pay for the trips. You got to do all. That's unrealistic. And I think that's the problem. And
And see, that's the part too. That's definitely the part too. If you're getting into these relationships, you got to understand, like, the economy is not set up for a lot of this stuff that we talk about online. A lot of us are sitting over here cosplaying about lives we will never lead. Okay, let's be so for real here. Most people are not making that much money. Let's do some, I think I looked this up before, but you know, let's do a rough estimate, because like I said, when you're dealing with statistics, you want to look deeper into the data. But let's just see a rough estimate on the average income for a woman in America. What is the average income? Oh wait, I didn't even put income. Let's see. All right, so in 2024, the average income was $57,000. Okay, $57,000. All right. Now let's see. The average income for a man, $62,000. Look, in this economy, if you got multiple kids and all that, you know, 50 something $1,000 is not taking care of all them kids, all them bills, unless you are living well below your means. Like you are really just penny pinching. Now, if you guys combine your resources and the woman is contributing, then yeah, you guys will have something to move around. Okay, you'll be able to do a modest Christmas. You'll be able to have a nice little house. You'll be able to get things done and save up for more, and then also work towards getting raises or opening up other streams of income, all of that jazz. So it's unrealistic to think that you're just gonna find this man that's making $200,000 a year, $500,000 a year, a millionaire. Like that is not realistic. And especially if you watch like the Kendra G's and you see the broads that be calling in there, and then they say they want a 6-figure, 6 foot, all the sixes. They say they want that type of man, and you look like a damn dingo bat. I'm like, you really think that's gonna happen for you? You see the broads that the men that have money are actually laying up with, they don't look like dingo bats. Okay, they do not look like little troll dolls. So you know, a lot of people are out here very delusional, absolutely delusional. That man is not for you. That man is not for you. You are in a better position if you look for somebody that is, you know, your looks match. But not only that, you know, y'all make an honest living. And when you combine that together, then you have some resources to work with. But everyone's living in Delulu land where they want the princess treatment. Oh, I deserve the princess treatment. Even though you act and behave like a whole peasant. It's like, it doesn't work that way. Get your head out of the clouds. A lot of that is not going to happen for a lot of these broads out here asking for it. Let's be so effing for real.
I was saying this too, you know, they don't even know how to come in with the, you know, with the willingness to cooperate. You have this mindset that, oh, he has to do it all. And if not, he's not good enough when you come with baggage, you know? So even still, but I do agree that if you have kids, maybe you should look to date, you know, people with kids, but still that for the man, that's still going to come at a heavier price, you know?
Yes, women are coming in with the bare minimum and they want a fortress. They want everything.
Yeah, they want
and women with multiple kids, they have a mental illness. I'm sorry. Everybody got their own last name. Everybody got their own family. Come on, give me a break. I mean, there are men that will sometimes take one sometimes, you know, but being a stepfather a lot of times is a thankless job. I've been at the weddings where the stepfather didn't raise that kid since they've been one, and then here come the dad coming down, and they look at the stepdad like, nope, not you.
Right.
Like, you done raised.
I'm a stepmom, and it stuck for me. It still sucks for me. I'm sorry. I would not suggest any young lady walk into a situation where there is a baby mama terrorist. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't.
Right.
I'm sorry. And you know, I have friends of mine that, you know, they're in blended families and their children call their stepmom, you know, glam mom, or, you know, they have these little cute terms. You know, it was never like that for me because, you know, my husband has a baby mama terrorist. It was always on 10, always on 12.
See, that's the other part. That is the other part. And she's absolutely right. That's another reason why somebody wouldn't want to deal with you when you have baby daddies or baby mothers, because it's not just the baby moms that could be baby mama terrorists, the baby daddies can be baby daddy terrorists as well. So it's like, you know, the crazy people that they deal with, they come back and they're trying to wreak havoc in your relationship. That's dangerous. That's literally dangerous. We literally just saw a story. I think it was like a woman from up north or from somewhere flew down. Okay, the heifer flew all the way down to Florida to go murder the man's new girlfriend. And I think they were both pregnant or something. It was some crazy situation like that. So it's like, yeah, you have to understand that the people you're laying up with, and especially if you're catching babies by them, if they're crazy as cat shit, nobody's going to want to deal with you, because who the hell wants to be looking over their shoulder to see if your baby daddy or your baby mama is out to get them or trying to attack them or looking to start trouble with them. It's just you put a target on their back. So a lot of people don't want to even be in a situation like that. So it's quite unfortunate. And the people who suffer the most are the ones who want to step up for those kids that aren't theirs, and they just want to do the right thing for that child, and because they love that person, they want to be there for the children even if that child is not theirs. It sucks for them, and then guess who else it sucks for? It sucks for the children. The children did not ask to be raised in that type of dysfunction. They didn't ask for that. Let's see. Yeah, Justin, I mentioned that earlier. She does sound like Niecy Nash. Every single time she says anything, I'm just like, yeah, you sound like Niecy Nash. Let's see. Last, you said high value men with average looking women are the ones that were with him before he was successful. Gotta get in on the ground level. That's funny. You know, that kind of reminds me of Akash and his thought pocket wife, even though she claims she just didn't know what these terms mean, but we're all side-eyeing her like, sure, Jan. You know, it's just like that. You know, even with a situation like that, you have to still keep inventory of how that person is treating you. I don't care if somebody was holding it down while you were struggling. If they turn out to be a menace and they're destroying your brand and they're destroying you emotionally and mentally, then you need to cut your losses. Okay, you need to cut your losses and keep it moving. Said the Indian Will Smith. I saw someone that commented, they were like, Akash about to pop out slapping people because they didn't keep his wife's name out their motherfucking mouth. Man, that whole situation is so crazy. But yeah, like, blended families are very difficult. They're very difficult because who wants to deal with a situation like that, where the other half, the baby mama or the baby daddy, is trying to hurt you, or they're telling their kids not to respect you? Like, who wants to deal with that? Not me.
It was never about what it was supposed to be. It was always about how she could stick it to him, you know, make him drive 8 hours and then say, my baby ain't going with you, you know, make him do all of these things and then say, oh, that ain't good enough. You should have did more. When all she's doing, like, you cannot appease them. And even if you think that you have a good woman, that, you know, she has children and she's acting right now with you, there will be times later on where you will see that her children come first before you, you know, their family too. Like, if it's their grandmother, even if it's the paternal grandmother of the father that's not around, she will prioritize that over you. I have a son, he's 15. I don't want him to bring a lady home from college and say, Mom, I would like you to meet so-and-so, and this is Junior, her kid from some other man. I'm not going to be excited about that. And women drag me for saying that. And recently a man just dragged me for saying it, wishing all this bad stuff on my son. Like, you know, just because you raise him that way doesn't mean that that's what he's going to do when he gets older. No, he can make his own decisions. But as far as what mommy's standard is, he's going to know that I'm never going to be 100% on board with that. And in his own situation, he's grown up to understand that blended families are not always easy, and it's hard for him. The dichotomy between my son and his half sister, it's a strained relationship. It is not a good relationship, and it's because they're raised completely different, and there is no cohesion. There's nothing that I can do or his father can do to bridge that gap now, so I've kind of like contributed to more of the madness for my own family. So now I get what my mom was saying when she was like, wait a minute, do you really want to do this? This is really serious. It is really serious, and it's not.
And that's true. That's absolutely true. I've already told Justin, my kids can't come home with somebody that's crazy as hell. No, absolutely not. Okay, you will get cut out the wheel like that. Okay, absolutely not. There has to be a standard. And, we don't want to overextend it too much, but at the same time, if you are just hell bent on ruining your life, guess what? You're not going to ruin everything else in the on the road to ruining your own life. So the goal is to raise your child to have the forethought and the wisdom within themselves not to put themselves in that situation. So it does go back to nurturing, right? It goes back to nurturing and trying to avoid inciting that rebellious nature within your child. I think that that's something that a lot of parents don't focus on. Once your child gets into that stage of their teenage years, their early 20s, things like that, that rebellion can set in really bad. Now, a way to avoid it is that you have to tailor the type of conversations that you're having with your child. You can't just be like, well, my way or the highway. You have to have them in on why things are the way that they are. It can't just be my way or the highway. You have to understand why this is the highway we're taking. Why the other highways are trash, littered with potholes and roadblocks, okay, and shitty drivers. You have to loop them in and have them explain to you why certain things shouldn't be. They have to understand it on a fundamental level, as opposed to, my mom just said. Well, because my mom said. It doesn't work that way. The moment you make it about you and not about the message or the lesson, then that's when you are going to feed into that rebellious spirit that just kind of naturally develops when a child is transitioning into an adult and they're trying to really, find themselves. Okay, they're trying their best to find themselves, and the easiest way to do that is to deviate as far as possible away from what mommy daddy says. Okay, because when they follow what mommy daddy says, it kind of reminds them that they're a child. It kind of puts them back in a child's place. So when you're having these conversations with your teenagers and your young adult, your young adult children, you need to incorporate them into that conversation and get them to understand on a fundamental level, not just because I said so. I hate when parents say that, because I said so, because I said so, that's not going to teach me why. Because I can look at it and be like, well, who are you? Why is what you say so? Okay, that's going to feed into that rebellious spirit. But if we sit down and we have a conversation about why you want to avoid these different things, and I let you kind of critically think about this, and we talk about it, we look at examples, we look at case studies, all of that, and you arrive to, this is the best highway for me, and we align on that point because you've seen the facts and the evidence that the rest of the highways are trash, then that's going to be a better position for your child, because it's not like you just dictated this to them. No, they made the choice within themselves based on critical thinking and understanding the consequences for going those different paths. So that's the part that people really mess up on, and they wonder why their kids are so damn rebellious. Let's see. Big Red, you said, yes, talk with your kid, not at them, and tell them where you messed up. Big facts. Absolutely. Absolutely. I really hate that because I said so. That's going to really feed into that rebellious nature, because then your kid is going to grift so hard into doing the opposite of what you said just to try to prove you right, even if it creates a detriment to their own life. Like, not everybody is making decisions that are in their best interest, obviously. So the last thing you want to do as a parent is to feed into that, and to feed into that rebellious nature. Stop with that because I said so nonsense. Instead, talk with them. Okay, talk with them and then have them figure out why they shouldn't do certain things. Because if they shouldn't do it, then you should be able to present evidence that will teach them why they shouldn't do it. Does that make sense? If it's logical, if it's based in reality, if it's fact-based, then, you can stand on the principles of it and the evidence and the consequences. You can stand on all of that, as opposed to leaning so heavily on because I said so.
Not just from 1 to 18. It's forever. It's forever. It's marriages, it's holidays, it's forever. So don't do it.
I totally agree with you. I have sons, and I say it all the time. There's no way. Now you're right. They can, they could go on and say, you know what, Mom, I really love her, and I'm gonna be strongly against it. No, some Bonnie crew member comes here with 3 kids, 2 kids, 3 baby daddies, 3 baby, whatever. I'm gonna tell you straight up, nah, I'm not. No, that you're making. No, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not for it. I just don't think and then you don't have any kids. You don't have any children. So I don't see that. No, go. You could find. You're young. You can go find a woman who hopefully that who doesn't have any kids, and build your own family. I wouldn't recommend it. Now, if that's what they choose to do, and they end up doing it, okay, well, we can't control.
Yeah, we got to make the best of it, right?
But I'm not gonna make it easy I'm gonna let you know straight up that I don't agree with it,
And you got to be very careful, right? You got to be very careful when you take that path, because like I said, if your child already has that rebellious spirit, then saying that is just going to make them want to lean more into that dysfunctional situation just to prove you right. So it's not so much about the act itself or being with that person. Now it becomes, I need to prove you right. And so what that'll create is, even if the situation starts to, give them bad consequences, they'll ignore them, they'll gloss over them, because the last thing a lot of adults want to do is admit that they're wrong, especially to their parents. So what you'll have is they'll grift hard into that relationship, even harder, to try to prove you wrong. And even when you're right, proven right through their experiences in that situation, they will gloss over it. They will ignore red flags simply because they do not want to reconcile with the fact that you were right and they were wrong. So that's why I say you got to be very delicate once you start dealing with a preteen, teenager, young adult, because that rebellious spirit it's something fierce. Okay, if you were a rebellious kid, then you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, let's not pretend like some of us weren't little rebels, right? So we have to be very aware of that, and how we talk to our kids when they become teenagers and young adults. It really truly does matter. And you can either feed into that rebellious spirit by creating that my way or the highway, environment, or you can allow them the space to really think about things and come up with the ideas themselves, even if you guide them towards it, right? Even if you guide them towards the, better understanding or logic or reasoning, you can guide them to it, but they have to arrive on that thought process themselves, or at least think they did. Okay. At least think they did.
But what you end up doing is okay, I gotta accept it. But no, I agree with you. No, I don't want my sons. No, I would not at all. So, you can go shame somebody else, because they're trying to shame these men into wanting them. Shame somebody.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the baby moms be like the puppet master over there when the kids come home. They be looking like, what you do? What you have on? Which I was watching? What they buy? Like, you know, and the kids, you know, she over there just being a puppet master with the kid,
Right.
like messing the kid up. And a lot of times the men didn't leave the mom. He was never with her. It was like a drive-through. It was
I
a
say that
drive-through.
all
It
the
was a pit
time.
stop. He had a pit stop.
Thank you so much, Shadow Souls, for the $5 super. You said, because my father didn't want me going over to my friend's house, I did it without telling them. I could have gotten myself into a lot of danger. That's true. That's absolutely true. Like, you know, you never know what could happen, especially when you're moving throughout the world, and the world is dangerous, and not everybody has the best intentions, and you know, it's just it's crazy. But yeah, that's the genuine truth about when you're a teenager and people tell you, oh, you shouldn't do this, because we know when you're a teenager you think you know everything. When you're a teenager you think you know everything, you think your parents don't know a damn thing. So when they tell you something, it's like, well, you just old, you don't know what you're talking about, I know what I'm talking about. And when you tell them you don't know what you're talking about, then that feeds into that ego. Now I gotta prove it to you, even if they find out that the parents were absolutely right, they'll ignore it just because of pride, right? Just because of pride, won't want to admit, like, hey, I was wrong, you were right, I should have listened to you. Like I said, the best way to avoid that, and it's not 100%, I'm not saying that this is 100% foolproof, but it is a way to try to mitigate that. Talk to your kids and try to get them to understand why, and they need to be able to explain to you why they shouldn't do certain things. Let them arrive at that, you know, through your guidance.
What no longer than an oil change?
Oh my God. Listen, I say that all the time because I'm like, a lot of these women talking about, oh, well, the men just left. Oh, they just left the households. They decided not to take care of their responsibility. They were never there. Like you said, it was a pit stop. You was just hitting it and quitting it, and you got pregnant, and you didn't care about no protection, none of that. You was busting it open, and you didn't care about nothing. Oh, I literally heard a woman say she was there for the D. She wasn't thinking about the baby. What? What? So you was out here just doing it, and you didn't think that it was a possibility that you might end up pregnant. You didn't care. It wasn't a relationship. He was cute. He was 6 feet tall, he was, you know, the typical Pookie, and you was attracted to that because, you know, they all attracted to Pookies and Ray Rays. So, you know, so Pookie was fine, and you gave him some, and you wanted it too. You had a good time. He didn't. Then you end up pregnant, and he didn't want no baby. He didn't want you. So, did he really leave you? He wasn't really there.
Right. That is so true. He was never there. That is so freaking true. And Black women be so mad that nobody wants a baby mama. Like, you know, Kevin Samuels, I'm telling you, like Kevin Samuels like did something to like the universe. He like cracked the matrix or something where everybody was like able to finally see these women for what they were, and just like all of their unrealistic, because not only do they think that someone should put up with their children, but they think that it should be a 6-figure dude. Like, it's not like they're like, okay, you know, I'll accept a regular guy if he puts up with my children. She's like, no, I want what the girl with no kids get. I want the same thing she gets. I want what the girl that made good choices get. And then have nothing else to offer these men, though. You know, she doesn't even bring anything to the table. This is why she got the 3 kids, and this is a man won't leave you with 3 kids if you was bringing something to the table, if you was the person that he wanted to be with, if you was going to be that man's wife. And this is what's wrong with Black women. I just watched a video I did a video about them being asked questions about if they would have sex with a married man that would take them to Pound Town or date a mediocre guy, and they all were like, I want to go back. And they don't care that he's married, and that's another thing about it, because they're the ones. These are the girls. Like, Black women are the girls that are there to ruin other people's lives. They want to ruin other relationships because they'll never have one. So these are the women that are going to be sleeping with the women that have husbands. They're going to sleep with they're going to like entice your husband on purpose.
And see, that's true. That's very true. As far as, like, you know, women, and I would say women in general, because I've seen some women in other communities doing the same thing, right? So it's crazy how a lot of women, they will go after men that they know are in committed relationships. It's like, and I've heard men talk about this before, where they would say that before they got into a relationship, their phone was dry. Nobody was checking for them. Nobody was interested. But the moment they got into a relationship, that was the moment when all the women started coming out the woodwork talking about, oh my God, I've always had a crush on you. Oh, well, what happened to us? And why couldn't we spend some time together? Women love what other women have. And that's why, you know, the more I go through my day-to-day, I think that a lot of women are walking around with this weird lesbian energy for each other. And it's very odd, because it's like, rather than just coming out that damn closet and just go getting you a woman, no, it's like, oh, I have to have what she has. I have to sleep with the man that she slept with. And you have these broads that'll be out here, and they will target, okay? They will target men who are in relationships because they want to show up the other woman. They will go out of the way to show up the other woman. Think about, for instance, what's that heifer's name? The Wizard Liz. The Wizard Liz. That was a subscriber of hers. At least if I'm recounting the story correctly, the woman who slept with her husband was a subscriber of hers, was a fan of the Wizard Liz. She wanted that woman's man. That's what she wanted, that man, not because of who he was as a man. No. She wanted him because of who he was with, because of the broad he was with. Because it's like, this is what's going through these broads' minds. If I can take her man, I'm better than her. If I can take her man, then I'm more attractive than her. I'm prettier than her. So a lot of women are moving throughout society, and they're making decisions based off of being in competition with other women, as opposed to making decisions based on what's going to serve me, what is going to put me in a better position, what is going to, if they have kids, what is going to be the best situation for my kids. No, all they think about is, I don't like that bitch. What can I do to one-up her? That's all they're thinking. How can I assert myself as the baddest bee among all these bees? That's all that they're thinking about. Wizard Liz, the Wizard Liz is like, I only know about her because other YouTubers were talking about her drama with her husband. And she was like this content creator. She did all this like content for women, women empowerment, boss babe, manifestation. Like, she did all that type of content, and she grew a really big following, and she ended up popping out and saying she was marrying this man. And then she got pregnant, and while she was pregnant, and I think they were engaged or something like that, or maybe they got married, I'm not sure, but while she was pregnant, he slept with, I believe it was a subscriber of hers. So these women who follow, who were, fans of the Wizard Liz, they were sitting over here DMing her husband. Okay, go ask that now, okay? Oh yeah, Justin, can you check on Bella? Right. So, they were subscribers to the Wizard Liz, and they wanted her man. So it wasn't about the man itself. It was just about, hey, I can take her man. Look at how great she is. She's on this pedestal, but if I can take her man, that means I'm better than her. So it's all about being in competition with other women. It has nothing to do with the man itself. So that's why I say a lot of this energy is kind of lesbianist energy. Because why are you putting so much thought into what another woman has? Why are you putting so much thought into who another woman is with? And not only that, why are you trying to sleep with the man that was inside of another woman? Like, it's like, are you trying to like have connection to that woman via the man? Like, it's weird. It's very weird. It kind of reminds me of the stuff that was coming out of the DeeDee trial. And, if you got kids listening, maybe, don't let the kids hear this part. But remember, you listened to the DeeDee trial, and they were saying how DeeDee would have other men relieve themselves onto Cassie, and then he would play with it on Cassie. So it's like he, was having these homosexual inclinations, as it seems, and instead of actually just going and being with that man, he used like Cassie as like a proxy for being with that man, because the man was with her, and so then right afterwards he is with her, so it's almost like he gets to kind of sort of be with him. So it reminds me of that. That's why I say a lot of this is giving lesbianist behavior. Let's see. Thank you, Swan Daily, for the $2 super. You said Trey Songz got it right. It's Mr. Still Your Man. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Miss Still Your Man.
Purpose. Not even like your husband have to be doing anything to want them. They're going to extra want him, especially if they find out he's married. Especially if they find out he has a beautiful wife. Especially if they find out that he's the proper man to his wife. They're really going to want him, not even understanding that he will never be that for her. And that's what they just want proximity to greatness. That's all. You ever see the a porn star talking? She's like, I deal with powerful guys all the time. Yeah. You deal with them behind closed door. They'll never go public with you. They'll never be with you. They like proximity to greatness. I deal with police officers. I deal with this guy and this guy. Oh yeah, I messed with this basketball player and that. Yeah, said how they what they did to you.
Right.
And that's what a lot of women don't want to realize, and that's why for me personally, when I'm dating dudes, I'm like, yo, I don't want you to to talk to me and then to talk to them is ridiculous. I don't want these women to have the same access as me to a man.
And that's dangerous too. Like I said, you had that woman in Florida that got killed because his ex was upset, and she came down there and attacked the new woman. So I understand that completely. Like if you're out there in the dating market, you got to be very aware of who your person was dealing with and what type of woman he was dealing with, because if she's crazy as cat shit, if he likes dealing with crazy broads, well, one, you might want to look in the mirror and see, hey, am I crazy too? Because he seems to have a type. So you might want to look in that mirror. But then also, if you're not crazy, do you want to deal with somebody that has this laundry list of exes that are crazy, who can come after you, who can, try to seek to do harm? And a lot of these bitches are scandalous. Like, they'll throw acid on you. They'll try to kill you. They'll try to hurt your children. Like, people are scandalous when it comes to, the men in their lives or trying to one up another woman. So you have to be very careful.
No.
Yes.
Necessarily the cheating part, that's another thing. But the fact that you gave a woman like this access to you is ridiculous. You better cheat. You better cheat with a woman of quality. You better cheat with something that's better than me, so I can understand why you cheated. But to cheat with a baby mama, I would be offended. I'm sorry. I mean, I can't really be offended because I know that this is what they're used for. They're like cum dumpsters. I get it, but still.
Oh,
it doesn't feel good. It would feel much better if she was better than, instead of worse than.
Well, it wouldn't feel good to me at all, because y'all know I ain't for the cheating, but I see what you're saying. If you're going,
I ain't for it either, DeeDee. I'm not,
I don't like cheaters either. I don't like cheaters.
Yeah, but I
but
can
I'm
see,
just
like,
saying.
that's
what they do.
Right. At least I get what you're saying. At least she
they come after women. You could be happy. You could be happy. That's why you don't want to post your man, because these women, you post your man on the internet, these women are in the DM telling them what they would do and all of this stuff. And it's just amazing. Yeah, amazing. I listen, I've been through it. I know how women get down.
And see, that part, look, I'll be honest, if the man I'm with goes ahead and cheats on me with somebody that looks like they came out of Tales from the Crypts, I am gonna be offended. I will be very much so offended. Like, you couldn't pull nothing better. Like, I'm gonna be offended that you cheating in the first place, but I'm gonna be extra offended if you cheat with something that look like it crawled underneath somebody's bed about to boogeyman scare somebody. I would be so offended. Like, you couldn't at least get somebody that looked just as good or better than me? That's just injury. What is it? Insult to injury. Let's be so for real. At least have her be. If you gonna do it, I'm still gonna leave you for cheating on me. But at least cheat where it's like I can understand. Like, okay, she is very beautiful. At least have it be something like that. Because let's be so effing for real. If you cheat on me with something that looks crazy as hell, I'm gonna be offended. I would be like, okay, so you knew you had this at home and you still decided to get that. It's like you have filet mignon with fresh well Parmesan crusted asparagus and, a fresh salad and some champagne. You have that waiting for you at home and you gonna stop and get McDonald's instead? The dollar menu? Do they even have a dollar menu anymore? You gonna stop and get White Castles instead? You got filet mignon sitting at the house. So yeah, I would be very offended if I saw that shit. Hell to the no.
Yeah.
That's why that sisterhood stuff is real. It is real. And they sleep with each other's men too. Don't think it's just yours.
Probably. They probably sleeping with each other too. Because they
definitely they
on those
do.
little girls trips that they be so desperate to go on.
Yeah.
So desperate to go on their girls trips. It's disgusting.
Yes, so desperate to go on the girls' trips. Yes.
They on the Kudakata trip. I always say the women, they'll leave their men because the men had cheat on them, right? They'll leave them like, I'm leaving, he cheated on me. But then you leave to go be somebody's mistress in your 50s.
Right.
Cardi B.
To have Walter coming through your door at 11:30 at night. But you done left this man. Like, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Even if the husband ain't cheated on them before, they'd be like, I lost myself. I don't know where they lose themselves at, but they leave. And then you come out here, then you somebody's mistress. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then when they get out of here, they don't think they're average. They think that they are above average. They think they're better than most. But like I always say, you don't see donkeys at the horse races. I ain't never seen a donkey line up with the horses at the horse races. You can't compete with them.
Right. But they think they can. They really, I don't know. It's somebody who said mental. It's something mental going on. It's some mental instability or something, because they really be believing the hype. And this is why when the way we talk about it and discuss these things, they be pissed. Some modern Bonnet crew member is watching this saying, I can't stand them heifers. They don't like it because they just don't want to hear anything outside of what they believe and feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, the sisterhood told us we are all 10s. I said it before, 400 pounds. Talking about, I'm a 10. I will not accept the bare minimum. It's just like, what? Please.
It's like you can be confident within yourself without being delusional, right? I can't. Where is that one video of that one broad that was on whatever podcast? Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can find it. Whatever podcast, I'm a 10. Let me see if I can find that, because that situation was effing sane. Let me see. Let me see. I think it was like a transgender. It was like a transgender that said that dumb stuff. Bruh. Pull this up for you guys. I think this is the clip. It might not be, but I believe this individual said they were a 10.
Hi, I'm Kiko. I'm 23. I go to UCSB and I also bartend.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Oh.
We are.
Okay, wait. That's not the video. That's not the video. But I believe it was that broad that said she was a 10. I believe it. Bruh.
Ask everyone to.
Okay, this was it. Let me see if I can skip to where
Christ is Lord. Let's go.
I know.
You're saying pure humility brings her down?
It's a fucking
Hold
joke.
on, guys.
It was a joke.
Ad block is. You got
it.
No, I'm saying on a. I disagree with
into the mic.
People.
Into the mic.
I'm sorry. I
meant what I said.
Okay.
Period.
That statement.
right at the beginning. Okay.
Kiko. So okay, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
10.
A fat fucking 10.
A fat fucking 10?
I mean, I'm just saying what everybody in the comments is gonna say. Be like, oh yeah, she's a fat fucking 10. Like, period.
Is there a comma somewhere in that statement?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
What was said was said.
Okay.
Yeah. I said what I said, and I meant what I said.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah.
We don't have to be delusional, you guys. We have eyes, okay? We have eyes. There are these things called mirrors. You ain't gonna convince nan one of us that you're a 10. Stop the cap, okay? Stop the effing cap. Let's see, Swan Daily, thank you so much for the $5 super. You said, how many times has the whatever podcast given you a headache? Oh my goodness. They know how to pick them, but that's how a lot of those, podcasts goes. They like look for the most salacious people to bring on there because they're entertaining. That's the entertainment value. But yeah, there are people out here looking like that, and they will bold-faced tell you they're a 10. Okay, the moment you rate everything a 10, nothing's a 10. It's like, do y'all not realize, like, that's what, if you call everything something, then nothing is that. Like, it loses its value when you have a definition for something and then you try to jam pack too much underneath that same definition. Understand, it no longer has meaning. The phrase no longer has meaning. So you have to be very clear about what it means to be a 10. Okay, you have to be very, very clear on that.
Ain't nobody checking for you for real. Like, y'all ain't no man of status who has standards, or they're looking at you as an option, but they believe they believe the hype. They really think that they're 10s, and they, no matter how big they are, no matter how unrealistic their standards are, they're still the best of the best. And you got a 6'13" bust down wig with your nails and all the makeup and all that stuff, 400 pounds, and you still think you everything in 10 bags of chips, and the man's supposed to be like chasing you. What they want the men to we want men to what they say now, they complain about men not approaching them for one, and then men not obsessed with them. That's the thing, obsessed with them anymore.
They can't approach him. They was cussing Mr. Charles out at the Kroger's. They ain't even want to say anything.
At the grocery store, yeah.
They got poor Mr. Charles out. But like they don't know what to say to y'all no more. Like, you don't get to have it both. You can't have fire and water in the same hand. It doesn't make sense. And the reason why they think they are is because women don't tell other women the truth. Women sit there and tell Lizzo that outfit look good with the butt cheeks hanging out. Right. Like, it don't. You can cover up.
Are we talking about Lizzo?
Yeah, Lizzo.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing about, like, when it comes to Lizzo or even Monique, these women will tell you how beautiful fat is and then lose weight. I don't even understand how they're not catching on now. They just sold you on fat, and then they turned around and lost weight on you. Like,
that's because deep down inside they never wanted to be fat. They hated being fat, but they will put out this bravado as if they love it, as if it's the best thing on this here earth to have visceral fat suffocating your organs. They will get out here and put the cape on for it and pretend like it's all great. But then the moment they get the opportunity to lose that weight, guess what? They're going to lose it, and then they're going to flaunt it in your face while you still sitting over there fat as hell, eating that big old box of ice cream, sipping your box wine, after you done ate several individual pizzas to yourself. Like, let's be so effing for real here. If they could snap their fingers and be skinny tomorrow, they would. I bet you every single one of them, there might be one or two actually clinically insane individuals that would stay fat. But if you offered them at the snap of your fingers, you could have the body of like a Normani, okay, because Normani's body is T, or like a Lori Harvey. If they could snap their fingers and have that body yaddy, they would. Okay, so a lot of it is cap, a lot of it is virtue signaling. They don't actually feel that way.
Like, how did you not see this? Like, how are you guys not, like, because they believe Black women are that dumb. Okay, I think they're I don't know if I can say this, the sisterhood. I think they're the dumbest demographic in America. I think they're the dumbest out of everybody, out of everybody, every demographic in America, they would be the dumbest. And it's not to be offensive. It's just to say that Black women have a lot of work to do. Okay. And I am a Black woman and I don't like being represented by them.
The statue in New York.
Something else. Like, I don't know. I already press other on the black, white, purple, green thing. I push other. At this point, I'm not even like that.
No.
Okay, and look, before anybody says anything about that, ask some of these Indians and Latinos and all Asians, ask them what they're marking on their documents. A lot of them are putting whites. Okay, let's be so for real. A lot of them folks are putting whites on their different loans or whatever documents that they have to sign. They're not putting Indian, they're not putting East Asian, or well, I think that's the same thing, but they're not putting all these different things. They're putting white on their documentation. So that's not exclusive to what Carmen's saying. A lot of people that don't look white, by all accounts, are not white. They're putting white on all their documentation, and for a reason.
I get other on them. Like, I don't
You know what, Carmen? They will come for you for that, because you know that's, oh my God, she's a Black woman and she's saying that. But you have to distinguish yourself from the rest. This is what they talk about too. Like, if there are good women out here, they're standing too close to the women who aren't. So there's no distinction. If you're dressing like that, if you're not, presenting yourself as, as a representation of who you are and who you want to be portrayed as, then you're looked at, as the same, even if you're not.
And I would argue that you are the same, right? If you got the same uniform on, you talk the same stuff, you behave, you hang in the same crowds, then I would argue that you are that. Okay, if you really want to get out here and tell me you're this good woman, but then I look at everything around you and it correlates to the same thing that the bad women are doing, then I'm not going to fall for that malarkey of I'm good, I'm good. No. Okay, that's the only thing I would have gave a little bit pushback on, is that I don't agree. If you standing close to the women that's bad and you behaving and living and operating in the same breath, the same way that they are, then guess what? That's you, honey. That is you. Okay, exactly, Ozzy. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a effing duck. So, I'm not like the other girls, but you behave exactly like the other girls. Stop you can't differentiate yourself if your behavior is the exact same, right? Like, we have to be honest about that. What's up, Sindal? Hey.
I think it's very important to distinguish yourself from the rest, to say, hey, this is whatever you are, this is what I am, and this is what I want to be approached as, and this is what I want to be represented as such, because I mean, if I'm not a hoe, I'm not gonna be standing next to the hoes and dress like them. No, I'm gonna dress like a lady, like whatever it is I want to be approached as or presented as. So I think it's important to distinguish yourself from because that's what's at the forefront. That's what we see. That's what people look at when it comes to the Black community or Black women, and say, oh, this is what Black women are all about. This is what they look like. They're 304s. They're ratchet. They're loud. They're ghetto. And that's not all of us. So yeah, you have to distinguish yourself.
Yeah, like they say we big boned it. No. Me and Precious have the same skeleton.
Right.
Bone, okay.
See that big boned lie? What you mean big bones? I'm gonna need you to go find some big bones and show them to me, because I ain't never seen no big boned individual a day in my life. Now, yes, some may be slightly thicker, but not to the extent where you're just gonna be just humongous because you got some big bones. Be so effing for real. Be honest, okay? You're greedy. Okay, I've been greedy. I get greedy sometimes. It's okay to be honest about it. You're greedy. You ain't big boned.
Lizzo and me, they're not gonna know if we passed. They're not gonna know who's who. Like, there's no such thing as big bone. That they've been trying to make men buy this forever. I don't care how many Ivory commercials you make. Mm-hmm. I don't care how many videos Lizzo does. The result it shows, and it's sad because you see what's happening. Look at the kids. You got huge, big old fat teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Even worse than that, you have massively obese toddlers. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting how some of these parents will literally set their children up to die at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw this one video of this little black girl. Well, I shouldn't say little because there wasn't nothing little about her. This black girl, and she couldn't have been older than like 5 or 6, and she could barely get herself up the stairs because she had to like lift her leg a certain way because she was that big. And I'm just like, that's child abuse. That's absolutely child abuse, and it's disgusting. I really think they need to start holding these parents accountable when your child is that big. There's no like, your child should be out playing, running, having a good old funky time, and exercising through play. They should not be sitting over here eating their feelings or just eating up the entire house. I can't stand to see an obese child. I can't stand it. It literally, that is one of the things where if I'm out in the public, I will literally get mad when I see an obese child, especially if the child is obese, but the parents aren't. That just pisses me off so badly when I see fit parents and then you got an obese ass kid, and I'm looking at the parents like, why the hell do you have this standard for yourself, but you're allowing your child to, gain all this weight to the point where they're going to have loose skin as a child. If they choose to lose the weight, they will end up having loose skin because of it. Jesse, you're so stupid. Let me save this image and put it on the screen for everybody. Hold on. Jesse wants me to show you this. I'm gonna pull it up. Give me 1 second. Let's look at what the big boned is. Wait, content no longer available. What the hell? Hold on. Let me see. Let me exit out of... Okay, I think it was just Discord acting a fool. It's just Discord acting a fool. What's that, baby girl? My daughter, she's going to be a performer, you guys. She's going to be a performer. Let me pull this image up for you guys. So this is that big boned. This is what they mean when they say they big boned. This is what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that this is their skeleton. This is the so-called big boned that they're talking about. I ain't never seen no skeletons that look like this. And if it does, you got some kind of weird disease that is making your bones like no, this isn't real life. This isn't real life. But yeah, I hate when I'm out and about and I see those kids and they're obese. I can understand, not meaning that it's a past, but I can understand when you have a family and all of the people are fat, the parents are fat, the kids are fat, so they don't know any. Okay, daddy's on it. Where you have everybody in the family fat, so it's like, yeah, you don't know how to eat well, so how are you going to then teach your child how to eat well? If you aren't able to feed yourself well, how are you going to do that for your kids? But then when I see those parents that are fit, but then their kids are obese, that's when I'm like, what the? How the hell you know how to make sure that your weight is under control, but your kid, you're not managing that for your kid? I can't stand that shit. I really cannot stand that shit. Let's see. What's up, Dayton? Hey. What's up, Pharaoh, too? It's just, I can't stand that whole concept of big boned and, parents having obese kids. Like, no, there's no reason for your child to be obese.
How are the 16-year-olds bigger than Maggie, the grandma? How's your waist bigger than your grandma's? Because
can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm. Waist bigger than your grandma's is crazy. I'm sorry.
Right.
Hannah, golly.
So what do y'all think about the black women? I don't know, like if y'all seen it's a girl, I forget. I think their name is like the Ferdinands or the Fitzgeralds. It's the Fitzgeralds. And it's a black woman and she's pretty young. I believe she's like 40. I'm young compared to the guy. She's about 40 and the guy is like maybe 75 or something. He's pretty up there. He might not be 75, maybe he's like 70. But what do you think about the black women that get the older white men and they go marry them, but they never really fix their inner trauma, So they like kind of they're dating black men do them wrong, and then instead of like healing and doing, like, doing the inner work, they just go find a rich white man to essentially just fund their lifestyle, and then they'll just, obviously it's like a sugar daddy, but like they're starting to marry him these days. So
Yeah.
it's like they're starting to marry their sugar daddy, kind of like the Summer Walker thing, where she
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys seen her album cover with her, like, I don't know if sugar daddy, I want to say. But what do you think about that? Because I find that to be a little disturbing. And these white men that take on these black women, I think they fetishize about
Me
them. Like it's
too.
like a fantasy or fetish. And they'll just
Slave
like
play.
they'll be like, I know what I'm signing up for. And she's like, well, I am not, in love. She's basically doing it for the money. So like, what do you think about those type of women? Because I see a rise in black women that kind of get out of the life, I guess, in that manner, but they still deal with the dusties on the side, obviously.
I think it's the
Okay, so I want to expound upon that. So, what she's referring to are those divester chicks, right? They get upset with black men, this, that, and the third, after done caught a lot of them done caught a bunch of babies by these black men that they hate, and then they go out and they say, "Oh, I need a white man. I need to get with a white man. A white man's gonna save me. A white man is gonna do this, that, and third, whoop whoop." And they call themselves divestors. And I have seen numerous cases where it was like that, where you had relatively young black women that are getting with these older white men because they're able to, buy them certain things. And honestly, a lot of those relationships do seem like fetish relationships, right? Like they do seem like they're, only really in that relationship for just their fetish, right? It's rarely ever like a genuine relationship. I personally don't care if people date out, but when your whole identity is, I don't want to date black people, or I don't want to, that's when it gets a bit weird. And in that fetish area, it's very odd to me. And it kind of reminds me of like those black women that will go on like ghetto getters. I have to censor that. It's very weird. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Like, actually, I don't want to know the answer to that question. I don't want to know the answer to that question. But it's very weird to me. And, I agree that there's something odd about them not going and healing, and then just going for that. But then even with that situation, like the women that are signing up to be divestors, most of y'all aren't even going to be able to get that high value white man that you're begging for. You're going to be settling for a dusty within the white community where white women didn't even want his ass. More times than not, that's what you're getting. You're getting the white man that the white women didn't want. So it's like you're trading one Pookie for, a Tommy, but he's a Tommy, but his Tomminess is like the equivalency of a Pookie in the black community. So you're not even really running away from it. You're just swapping the race, thinking that the race is what makes it different. But no, it's the individual. It's the person. So yeah, it's short-sighted. And that's why we see a lot of those divestors are doing just that, dying.
Easy. It's like a cheat code. If you can, I think a lot of women like that would prefer something like that because it's easier. If you could find a sugar daddy who's just because she's not gonna give him, in my opinion, she's not gonna give him the trauma or the drama that she would give a black guy that she's actually dating. she's not going to give that to that rich man because he's going to take care of her. So as long as he's taking care of her, she's going to do whatever it is that he wants her to do. So I feel like it's easy. And then if she's still sleeping with the pookies on the side, because that's what she really want to be, he just can't fund her. Like, he can't pay for her. He can't take care of her. So I think the sugar daddies know what they're getting into. They know what that if it's a fetish, whatever it is, he knows that he's willing to do it, pay for it. She's gonna do whatever he want to do. So she gonna do. He get what he wants. She gets what she want. But at the same time, I think I don't think women are truly happy in those situations because you don't love that old man. You're not in love with him. You're just there because he can pay for you. You really would love to have a nice man around your age that you could actually be in love with and live with and care for you and y'all love each other. But he don't have the money. So I think it's like a cheat code, I guess, to go and get the lifestyle you want without the other part of it. I don't think they'll really be happy though. I think it's just temporary because eventually you notice, I see some of them, they're starting to marry them and they're like, I guess they at their wits end. Maybe they realize, I ain't gonna never get, the man I really want to make this kind of money and give me this lifestyle. So I'll just go with this,
And they try to convince us that they're happy.
The percentage of it is real small. You'll find panda hair in New York City first on the ground. And the truth of the matter is when you seeing them women on Instagram and social media saying how they got this white man, he's old, he got money. I mean, it's such a small percentage of women that are even able to do that, but it doesn't matter. You can take a poodle and color them orange and put stripes on them. It's still going to be a poodle. It's not going to be a tiger.
Right.
Like, so even though that she might have went over here to this old white man, I mean, baby, you still stink. I always say rotten meat. You put it in Tupperware, put the top on it. When you open that top up, it's still rotten. It still stink. So she's still stinking over there. So she can try to convince us all we want to, and it's such a small percentage. Like I said, you'll find panda hair in New York City on the ground first. So I don't think we gotta worry about a lot of women going that way because that's not a.
But it could influence a lot of women because anything that these women see, they're like, "Oh my God,
they love everything."
Yeah,
oh my God. They think that she is. They look at her and think like, "Oh, she is healed. She did this. She moved on. She got this guy. And this could happen for me." This is what I'm like. Black women always think that it could happen for me type person. They don't ever look at statistics. Like you see how you went into reality. Well, the chances of that happening is probably slim to none. They don't think like that. They're like, if she could do it, I could do it too. This is like
exactly. It's just this invincibility, like, this wishful thinking, not living in reality, thinking that, Summer Walker got this, so I can get it too. And it's just like, you're not in the same rooms that she's in. It's one thing, and I'm not going to say that people should take rose-colored glasses off entirely. I think when it comes to like starting businesses or just wanting better for yourself, you do have to have some level of rose-colored glasses there. But you still have to be based in reality, at least bare minimum based in reality, right? Let's not, shoot for Jupiter, knowing good and damn well we don't have the technology to get to Jupiter right now. We need to aim closer. Okay, we need to aim closer, like maybe Mars. Hell, maybe let's aim for the moon. But, this idea that these women that are just coming out in droves, divesting from the community, the realization or the idea that they're all gonna get these 1%er white men is illogical. That's not going to happen for most of them. But every single time they see it happen to one of them, then it's like the lottery, right? It's like the lottery. Whenever you see somebody, they won in this town that's 20 minutes away from where I live, that means it could have happened to me. So it reignites this idea that they should keep playing into that game of trying to get them that white man because they saw it happened to her. Oh yeah, I see it happening to her. I see it happen. But then they can't understand that even if you're seeing it pop up on your timeline, understand your timeline is curated for you. They know you want to see that content, so you're going to see more of it. And it's going to inflate, how much you think that's actually happening. Because if you're constantly seeing it on your timeline, and a lot of people don't think broader than their timeline, if you're constantly seeing it pop up on your timeline, black women dating these older rich white men. You're seeing it, even though it's curated. You're thinking it's happening at a grander scale than it actually is. That's why it's so important to go touch grass and also to go heal, because why are you with somebody that you don't actually like them, but you're with them to kind of spite black men? I think that's very odd. Just like the black men who are dating all these other races of women to spite black women. Like, that's weird. It's one thing if you want to just date out, by all means, go do that. I have no issues with that. Go date out, do your thing. But the moment the reason why you're doing it is to spite the opposite, that's when it's a bit icky. That's when it's a bit weird. It's a bit much.
Their mindset. They don't understand the logistics of how she got there, what situation she put herself in to be able to meet this type of person, because they think that they're just going to walk down the street or somebody's going to knock on their door and then they're going to be like, I'm going to just care if you can pay all your bills and stuff. But I think it's really funny that when they do get into those situations, they're all of a sudden feminine. They're all of a sudden listening to what men are saying. And a lot of the times, like, they'll put on a more feminine role for these men. You'll see them change completely. And it's like
Their
the
voice.
thing about them is they bow to money. Money is like, I realize that's their God. Money is black woman's God. And the real God is, I think they'd slay Jesus if he came back. I really do. I mean, they're like, I already know they was, what if Jesus ain't listen? They would, and then they would call him a broke ass nigga and everything.
Yes.
That would happen if Jesus came back to a black woman. It's sad. Hopefully he come to one like one of us, because if he came to you, he's all in trouble.
Oh my God.
No, I think it's gross. And I was going to say that, they're only doing it for the money.
Right.
And for Summer Walker to tout that older white man for that last award show, it was just that, like, trying to promote that, to the young ladies. Like, don't even bother with the Pookies anymore. Now that I've had 2 Pookies babies, let's not bother with them anymore. Let's go get these older white men and use them. But they don't understand that they're also being used for something. So it's not a place of empowerment. It's still a place of, lowness. That, it's not empowering. And then I would ask, if these older white men are marrying you, are they leaving you their assets? Because there was like a big fight with that Anna Nicole lady, right? When that billionaire man that she married wanted to leave her assets, the man's children were fighting them, the estate with that. So it's like, think about it. Be strategic when you date. You are supposed to be strategic. You're not supposed to be out here spreading it low and wide, but you're also not supposed to be leading with the thought that you're going to be able to take advantage of the man that you're with. So I think that's what makes it really gross and disgusting, that you'd be willing to take advantage of someone for money and personal gain. That is gross to me.
And that's because a lot of these broads, they don't actually care about, like, it's like they've gone through so many different situations that they put themselves in, to the point where they become sociopaths. Like, they literally become sociopaths. They don't give a damn. They don't care. They don't see people as people. And it's quite disgusting. I could never be in a situation dating somebody, sleeping with somebody that I don't like just because they're paying for things. That is disgusting. If I'm going to be laying up with you, it's because I actually like you. I want to spend time with you. I want to do nice things with you. Like, it's so weird and disgusting that you will have people out here that will literally do the do. I mean, it's the oldest profession, but they'll literally do the do with somebody that they don't like just because they want access to their resources. That's sick to me. And any man or woman, because this happens to women too, any man or woman that is tolerating a situation like that, you're a simp. You're a simp, and you have no self-respect whatsoever. No dignity. None of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And I wonder if those marriages last. How long? Because, a lot of times they don't. But it's like Ray Talk Anna said, it's a small percentage, and most of them aren't married. They usually just, this is their sugar daddy until he find a younger version of her, then she's kicked to the curb and it's somebody else. But yeah, it's just ridiculous, y'all.
Yeah, she putting baby on the steps in the bathroom, hoping he fall.
Girl,
I'm just saying, like,
putting baby oil on the floor in the bathroom. Like,
yep, she doing everything.
Oh my God.
To get rid of Mr. Paul.
Waiting for him to die. Like that's
Smell the roses. You said that Summer Walker stuff, and I think that right there with Summer Walker was key, because if you pay attention to Summer Walker, she went through like this whole healing process, and then she popped out with Rico Reckless, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, you went through this whole healing process, and then you pop out with someone like Rico Reckless, and you thought something was going to be different.
That was going to be better. Yeah.
Like you could just tell that these women are not actually holding themselves accountable. She probably went through a process of being like, okay, he went, like, it was him, none of it was me, which is a thing that Black women have a problem with, identifying their role that they play in things, because they're always innocent. And yeah, when she pops out with Rico Reckless, and then that doesn't work, and then she's like, you know what, forget it. I'm going to just date old white men. She still didn't do any more inner work. And then she do the I'm gonna date old white men thing, which she was. And then now she's like caught with in
Tory Brits.
Was and then now she wants to ruin women's lives who,
like what you said earlier.
Like, yes, this is what it's a cycle. So now.
And that's so true. These broads will sit over here and ruin their own lives, and then they'll give advice to other women to help them ruin their lives too. Misery loves company. And like I told you guys before, and I think I said this on this stream as well, where you will have women that will sabotage other women, because if enough women are making the same mistakes that they made, then it's not on them. It's not that they were missing something or that something was wrong with them. No, it's just society, or it's something that's outside of their control. Because look, all these other women have the same problem that I have. All these other women made the same choices that I had. So they do that on purpose, because if they can get younger women to make the same mistakes that they made, then that misery loves company, but then also power of numbers. If there's so many of us and we all made the same stupid ass decision, then it makes it feel a little less stupid.
Now she went through that cycle of wanting to have her own man. It didn't work out because she's choosing bad. Didn't work out because she's choosing bad. Then she tried one more time. It doesn't work out. She moves on, and you say, you know what, I'm getting me a sugar daddy. And as she got her sugar daddy, because he's not making her happy, then she's like, let me go check on somebody else's man. Whose relationship can I ruin so I can have company in my misery? And that's what they do.
I mean, I expect people to be who they are. I mean, Summer Walker has like a litter of kids. She needs to be spayed and neutered. I think that when it comes to...
And what's so funny is that I remember Summer Walker before she had them kids. And you know what she was doing? She was talking mad sugar honey iced tea. Shout out to Messing with Sean. She was talking that okay, about baby mamas. She was laughing in the faces of other people's baby mamas. And now look at her.
To Summer Walker. I mean, she's playing her role. I don't think she will qualify for anything that had greatness in them. I just don't. Her or Nicki Minaj. They qualify for the men that they talk to. The men that they marry, the men they be around. It's not going to go up past that. As far as psychology of it, like they can't go up no higher. You know,
but then she said Cardi B had a perfect person that she was with. Like, he was cheating on her to death. But like, I mean, listen to your music. You broke up with your husband to get cheated on by a side dude. Like and he had several babies on you. Like, that wasn't even just cheating. It was a public humiliation.
Yeah.
That was very humiliating for Cardi B. And she's so stupid that she doesn't even recognize it as humiliation. The man that you just had a baby with, he's expecting more babies relatively soon. So he knocked you up and knocked a bunch of other women up, and you're just a lineup of other women. Like, it's so embarrassing. And it's like, it just does not register. I guess as long as I'm the bottom B, then it's fine. So it's disgusting. And, Offset, he was cheating like a dog. But it's like, yeah, that's your match. Y'all both trifling and y'all deserve each other. The least y'all could do is stay together and raise them damn kids that y'all already had together. She literally just gave birth not too long ago to another one of Offset's children. And then now she gave birth to a different man's child. Like, girl, be so effing for real.
Yeah.
And it's just completely ass backwards. I couldn't believe the whole, well, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I totally believe it, but I didn't believe that she would actually go out like this. And like, literally, I thought like, okay, you were married and you get divorced to be a side?
Yeah.
She was playing like,
it just doesn't make sense. You might as well stay with Offset. That was the perfect couple right there. Exactly. She could just stay with him. You gave him 4 children. You already made your bed. Yeah,
and he made no babies on her while they've been married. He might have been cheating, but he didn't make any other children while he was in that marriage. He was just cheating. This Diggs guy, he's had 4 babies so far, plus her baby. Now that's like 5 babies in 1 year. That is just like, you know, and when she did that interview with, I guess it was Gayle King, and she was saying she hadn't told her parents yet. Well, you know why she didn't tell her parents? Because they're gonna be like, are you crazy? Right. Like, why would you be doing this? And they would shame her. So DeeDee, when you said earlier to fix it, you would, you know, women would stop making babies out of wedlock and they would be married. I think that is, you know, the start, you know, and then by doing that, we bring shame back. Mm-hmm. Because if it's women out there moving like Summer Walker trying to sleep with our husbands, you know, then we have to give her, you know, the Scarlet Letter. Y'all remember that book in school, The Scarlet Letter?
And see, here's the thing with the shame. The shame has to come before. You have to know that the act is shameful in and of itself, right? Because it does nothing if you just feel the shame after the fact, right? Maybe you won't do it again, but the deed is already done. That shame needs to be introduced beforehand. Before you even think to get yourself in that situation, you should feel the shame for even entertaining that situation. So yes, we do need to bring back that shame. And then also there should be social consequences for a lot of these behaviors, whether it is, you know, and for instance, I'll give you an example. If there were like somebody that was in my life, like a woman that was in my life, whether it was like my sister or a cousin or a female friend, and I found out that she was playing games using her child as a pawn against the baby's father, if I found out that this woman who is in my life was using their child as a pawn, you know, not giving a damn about how this makes the child feel, but using the child as a pawn against the father, or, you know, something like that, I would stop talking to them. And I would make sure that she knows, yeah, I'm not going to participate in this. We're done here until you get your shit together. I'm not going to associate myself, just like we were talking about earlier, just like, well, not we, because I wasn't on the panel at this time, but just like DeeDee had mentioned earlier, when you say you're a good woman and you're standing right next to a bad woman, then where's the distinction? There is no distinction. So, you know, in my personal life, if there are women who are behaving a certain way, hell, if there are men who are behaving a certain way, like for instance, if I knew somebody that was in a gang, guess what? You and I are not spending any time together. You're not coming over to my house. I'm not going over to anything hosted where you will be present, because the last thing I want to be is a casualty because of your life choices. So that's what I mean when I say we need to start ostracizing these folks. Cut them off. Don't invite them to shit. If they're going somewhere, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't be anywhere near them. And make sure they know the very reason why you don't want to be anywhere near them. That's what I mean by ostracize them. And if enough people in their life do that and tell them and are very vocal that this is the reason why, then they're going to look, that's going to put the pressure on them to get their together. It's going to put the pressure on them to get some damn act right.
That shit scared the hell out of me. You know, I don't want to be walking around in public with an A on my chest. Right. And everybody knows that I'm the cheater woman, you know, so let's bring some damn shame back to these ladies.
There needs to be something. Let me get through a few of these super chats, y'all. And then I think I have one more question, and then we'll be Trump got them out here.
People at the bottom of the bottom. We are probably
the way we see it. Amen. Andre says that's some progress, but
I was just gonna speed through the supers. Okay, if you want to see the supers, go see the go back to the channel. The original video is in the description.
No, but the loud minority. Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate you. Our Payne again says, where is he?
Wait,
Trump got them out here on 10. LOL. I don't know. All right. I guess that's all of them. I don't know. I don't see them. I don't see the other ones coming up yet. But do you guys think Black women will ever have any accountability? Will they ever see it the way we see it? Will they ever have some accountability at some point to realize their ways and maybe start to try to do you see? Because I'm trying to keep hope alive that maybe they'll see some of these videos and maybe they'll listen to what you guys are saying, and maybe they'll wake up and realize that this is not beneficial to them, that they're not really benefiting from what they're doing and their mentality and their feelings and emotions and all of these things. That one, maybe sooner than later, they'll realize that, hey, we're duped. We're kind of cooked. Maybe we need to start doing something to make a difference, because what's happening now is just not working. It's just
okay. So as far as this part goes, the only way I can see us to start like making headway on all of this is if we bring back vulnerability. And the reason why I say that is because we have such a society where everybody is about their bravado. They're about the mask. They're about their representative, right? So it doesn't matter, like their life could be in shambles, but they don't want to let you know that they're vulnerable. They don't want to let you know that their decisions are causing them pain and turmoil. Instead, they'll put on this bravado that everything's okay, even if their house is on fire. So I think that if we really want to start seeing a change, and this could be throughout society as a whole, we need to bring back honest vulnerability. I'm not talking about the crash outs on the phone. Baby girl, she's over there playing with her dad. But I'm not talking about that, crashing out on the phone and all that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. But honest vulnerability, so that people know that they can be honest about being sad, be honest about, things not panning out the way that they thought it would. Once we bring back that vulnerability, then it's going to open the door for people to finally be honest about, the consequences of their choices, rather than trying to put on a front to justify their choices and be like, no, I didn't make any mistakes and everything's perfect over here. When people are more vulnerable and they're honest about how things just fell apart because of this choice they made, then that's when you can really start to take accountability. Because if you're going to sit over here with this bravado, guess what you're not going to do? You're not going to be accountable, because you're going to pretend like everything's fine. But the moment you can admit that there's a problem, that's when you can start opening the door for accountability. So I think it can be done, but we have to change the culture. Okay, we have to change the culture on, on social media. And whether that is being vulnerable where you can, right? So that's why, I'm pretty open, not about everything, but I talk about, weight loss and the different struggles that I have with it. I've talked about, my hair thinning and how that's been causing me a lot of strife and all those other things. It's important that we talk about the things that make us feel vulnerable, and we allow people to understand, you're human. It's okay for you to be, not everything has to be perfect, and not everything has to be, put on airs for everybody else online. We can be honest about how we truly feel about things, whether it's a past decision that you made and it was a stupid decision and you feel like an idiot for doing that. Being vulnerable to say that, yeah, I was dumb back then. That was a silly decision. I should have listened to so-and-so because they tried to tell me back then. Just being vulnerable in that way, that's going to open the door for a lot of women, and not just women, but men, people alike. That's going to open the door for folks to actually change, for folks to be open for, critique, or open for areas of improvement. Because once you get rid of that bravado, then you can get to the heart of the issue. That's what I think.
Just not working.
I have seen very rare instances, So it is slowly making its way around. It's just taking a really long time, or where there are some women that are waking up and starting to like see a lot of the stuff that they've been brainwashed with, and they'll realize and take accountability for their mistakes. So, I mean, I want to be doom and gloom, but at the same time, I do have a little faith that it'll eventually come around, but it's just going to take a really long time.
Carmen, what you think?
I think that we are probably fucked. I don't know. I think if we're waiting on Black women to change, and it's going to be a while. You could just look at how they voted in the last election. 92% of them voted for Kamala Harris. So you could see that about 8% of Black women, and I'm not saying that everybody that voted for Kamala Harris is like an idiot or something, but it does say to the ideology, and what these women believe in. And a lot of them could just be like feminists, but you see, like, to me, I think that it's gonna take a lot, because it's not like a lot of people think it's just like the ghetto Black women, but look at the celebrities. Look at Ciara. She's married. She can't stop twerking. Look at all of them. They have no one to look up to. Look at Beyonce. Even all of them are doing that. They're perpetuating these same ideas down to these people at the bottom and the bottom.
That's true. That's true. It's crazy because you will have people that do not live that life, right? They don't live that life. They're not degenerate. They're not out here having baby mama after baby mama or baby daddy after baby daddy. They're not in a gang. They're not doing any of these things, but they'll put the cape on it just because it's associated with Black people. And that's the part that really pisses me off. It's like, that you're not supposed to live your life that way because you're not living your life that way. Why are you throwing on the cape for this just because, it's associated with Black people, but it's inherently negative? And that's the part that I cannot stand. Like, can y'all stop promoting things that you yourself would not adopt into your real life? Like, promote your healthy lifestyle. What's wrong with you promoting the fact that you had 2-parent household, that you created a 2-parent household? Why can't you promote the fact that you aren't over here, throwing it back in a circle with a camera up your ass? Like, why can't you promote that you don't behave this way? Why do you have to throw the cape on whenever there's any critique for these behaviors? Well, you shouldn't, da-da-da-da. But then, okay, well, if that's the case, then why don't you go out and do it? If you want to get on here and say there's nothing wrong with having an OnlyFans, okay, why don't you create one? Oh, you don't want to do that. Why? Because it's wrong. So I can't stand the people that don't live that life, but they throw the cape on for it, and they literally like cheer other people on in destroying their lives, knowing good and damn well they would never. Okay, they would absolutely never. Let's see. It's Bryce. You said it's crazy because I only see these issues online, not in reality. And that's the interesting part, because I've typically had the same experience. Like, yeah, there are people in my life that are, baby mamas or baby fathers, and they have no commitment or anything like that. I have seen that. But as far as like that extra delusional aspect where they're looking for like this millionaire man to take care of them, that part I haven't quite seen in my personal life. In my personal life, what I see is like, blended families where both parents are working and they're trying to figure things out. Okay, maybe they've made, poor decisions in their dating, but then they get together and now they're trying to figure things out. Or maybe they are single, but they're not sitting over here thinking that they deserve or that they're going to get this millionaire, this 6-figure earner with 6 foot and 6-pack abs and all sorts of stuff. That part I haven't seen in my personal IRL life. Okay. I've seen the other dysfunction, but not that level of delusion in my personal life.
Bottom is feeding it right back up to them. So I don't know. I really know that if Black women don't get their act in control, the Black community is done. I hope that Black women are able to see it. I'm even thankful that it was 6 of us on here today. I've never been in the up on a panel with as many Black women that think like I do, because usually they just don't. So I'm like, what? Like, I kind of want to keep hope alive for Black women, and that's why I do my content. And if you pay attention to my content, I've been really focusing on them recently, because I hope that if you keep paying attention to them and giving them, trying to talk it through with them and letting them see where the problems lie, hopefully they'll pick up on it. But I'm just not so sure. I'm not so sure, because they hate Black men and they hate white people. So, yeah.
I would say it's like a love-hate relationship when it comes to like talking about, Black men and then also with white people. It's like an obsession. I think that's the part. It's really an obsession that's very unhealthy and unhinged. And that's really like that's the problem. A lot of these different things are dysfunctional and then they just compound upon themselves. So rather than, having this dysfunction, then you take a stop, you take a breather, and then you try to figure it out. You try to redirect, you try to do something different. No, it's just going to full throttle into dysfunction. And that's the problem. But when it comes to like Black men and then white people in general, I think the issue is obsession. A lot of us are obsessed and in a very unhealthy way.
What's your thoughts? Smell the roses.
Oh, I think that for the older women, the more mature women, I think that they're just cooked, and we gotta let them alone. We gotta let them alone.
Yeah, Big Red. Yeah, we talked about dead internet theory. Yeah, a lot of these accounts are meant to rage bait, to keep interactions going. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the women that call into like the Kendra G's and all that other stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they are doing all of that, saying all of that because it's outrageous and because they want Kendra to post a video about them because they want to go viral. Virality is a drug, and it's people that aren't even really content creators like that are trying to chase going viral. I understand if you're a content creator and wanting to go viral, because that's how you make your money. When you go viral, then you have more attention on your page. You're able to generate more ad rev, all of those different things. So it makes sense from a business standpoint, wanting to go viral. But you have everyday regular people that don't have a monetized platform, and they just want to go viral because they want to see their face all over the internet. So they will get out here and say the most outrageous shit you've ever heard. And they'll do that on purpose just to go viral. It's absolutely sick.
But for the younger women, I think that, I think that they see more of what maybe we didn't see in our mothers when we were growing up. Like now there's YouTube, there's TikTok, there's other people talking about accountability and things that, are bad in our community, and that the things that shouldn't be celebrated. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with the younger people, they'll be more prone to accept our messaging and make some changes, because as we see SNAP and all of these government programs start to shrink, and these older women who are going to be grandmas soon not be able to take care of themselves, I feel like that will show the younger women, oh, well, I can't let this be me. So I don't want to turn into my mom, and I don't want my daughters that I have to turn into me that turned into my mom. So let me start to do some course correction. But I think that's with the young ladies like under 30. If you're at 30 now and you are hearing these messages and you're adopting that gynocracy attitude that women know everything better and men are the scum of the earth, then you're cooked. And we're not looking to save you. And I feel like men should just move on from these women and not give them any attention. Once we start ignoring them, they'll either go away and find click up with themselves, you know, and then there'll be those spinsters that people used to talk about in the 30s and 40s, you know, and that will be a form of shame, and that will quiet the voices.
Right.
All right. So, yeah, you know, this issue is something that needs multiple prescriptions to heal. Okay. This is, you know, multifaceted issue. I don't see one solution being a fix all for this problem. It's way too deeply rooted in our community. And until we get a hold of it, you know, and it could come from people, you know, just breaking out of, you know, breaking out of
responsibility to teach
that dysfunction, or what do they call that? What do they call that when they generational curse? Breaking the generational curse. You know, if you're able to do that, then you can really change the tide for your lineage. But it's very difficult, right? It's very, very hard to break generational curses, but it takes work, it takes effort. And like I said on this panel, and I'll say it again here, be vocal. Now, if you're not a social media person, you're not a content creator, then just be vocal within your family. Be vocal with, you know, the people around you, and give them that counter programming, that counter information. Show them that there is a different way. Lead by example. That is the best thing that you can do. Okay. The more we put it out there that there is another way, you don't have to stick with this hood booger shit. Okay. The more that you do that, then you're giving them other options, other things that they can choose from. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, let's see. All right, so yeah, that was everything I missed. That was everything I missed while I had to skip out for a little bit during the stream. The ladies did a wonderful job, and I'm sad that I wasn't there to, you know, be there for the entire conversation. Because I would have really loved to have kind of jumped in there, you know, here and there, and really interact with the ladies again. Shout out to DeeDee for hosting this. Now, if she wanted to make this a once a month thing, I would be there every single time, and I'll make sure I open up that time slot so that I don't have to leave. So shout out to DeeDee. DeeDee, if you see this, sis, if you want to make this a monthly thing, just know I'm on board and I will be on time. I'll make sure that I'm on time every single time. So yeah, this was a really good panel. Just so that we also have some housekeeping. Tomorrow we have the beautiful Messy Michonne. She's going to be on the channel tomorrow at 6 p.m. EST. So look forward to that. We're going to get into these fake pro-blacks. Y'all know I've been on the kick with them. It's been on site with these fake pro-blacks calling everybody else anti-black while they uplift all the things that make the black community sit at the bottom of society. But I'm not going to go too deep right now. Okay, I'm not going to go too deep right now because me and Messy, we're going to get into it tomorrow. So definitely, you know, go to my channel, and then under the live stream tab, hit the notification so that you don't miss it. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. EST. It's gonna be a treat. Okay, it's gonna be an absolute treat. You know, ever since I started watching like her live streams are so entertaining to me. Like, it's just everything about it. Like, the chat is always popping. She chooses really good videos to react to, and then also her commentary is it's spot on. You know, there's a lore behind the channel. Just everything is perfect. So, you know, I'm definitely a fan. Okay, I'm going to be fangirling a little bit, but we're going to get into that topic. So definitely hit the notifications for that live stream, and I hope to see you guys there. And now, I think it was Highway 20 that asked me to pull this up, that there was a mother that was wilding on here. Now, this stream is kind of long, so I'm not 100% sure where I want to start, but I have this timestamp, so let's just see what they're saying here. I'm going to rewind it. Oh, shoot, that's like right at the end. I'm going to rewind it back a little bit and see what they're saying right here. And then we'll kind of see what's happening. And then we're going to call it a night, because I've been streaming for like 3 hours. I got to go cook. This time went by fast.
Talked about, we was all over the damn place. You know what I'm saying? But it's all love. It's all love. Sandy, hurry up and get your cheeks clapped because this is crazy.
Yo,
you need
what
something.
just say? The whole conversation. Don't have sex before marriage.
You get a pass.
Now I get a pass.
Yo, we gonna clip that.
Now I get a pass. Now I get a pass because I'm not crazy. No, I'm crazy.
You get a whole pass. Do you, boo boo? You know what I'm saying? Have
But
fun.
no, for real, if everyone individually can work on themselves and continue to serve God the best way that they can and be humble enough to know that we can always change for the better, then collectively we will be okay. But if we can individually decide to just work on ourselves, whatever that looks like, whatever that means, we'll be okay collectively.
Right, right. You got any closing statements, Sandy?
Collectively means.
Sandy, you got any closing statements?
Okay.
No.
Now I can't hear y'all.
She said no. All right.
Like I said, I feel how I feel at the end of the day. My kids are not growing up to want to blow up the school, cut themselves, kill themselves, or end their life because I told them to get the fuck up. So at the end of the day, they're not going to love me less because I told them to stop fucking doing something because I'm using the F word. So at the end of the day, I know my kids love me just like I love them. At the end of the day, I know that the way I raised them is completely how I was raised, which means they're going to grow up to be better than me. And
wait, how does that even make sense? I raised my kids the same way I was raised, so they're going to be better than me. No, they're going to be just like you. If you're not going to change any bit of how you were raised to tailor like your kids and to kind of make up for the things that your parents probably didn't do as well, then, I mean, I don't know. Is she married or in a committed relationship with the father of her children? It seems like it's not the case because he, the host is saying go out and screw. So I don't know. I kind of jumped in on this conversation a little too in the middle. I wish the stream wasn't as long. I wish I could have like a specific clip to react to, but I'm not quite sure where to jump in here. But just on that statement alone, if you're saying that you're going to raise your children the same way you were raised, but then your life isn't exactly what you want it to be, how are you going to expect your kids to be better if you're giving them the same raising, the same treatment? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
In which that's all I want. So at the end of the day, I know what I'm doing as a single mother, and what I can do and what I should be doing is what I am doing.
So you're a single mother, but yeah, I'm going to raise my kids the same way. Why? So they can make the same mistakes? Is that what we're doing?
Okay.
And can't nobody tell me different. And if anybody else got something else that they have to say about how I'm doing it, to come and teach me. And I'm
supposed to teach somebody with this kind of attitude and this type of bravado. Come and teach me.
I'm a physical learner. I'm a physical learner. So teach me.
I'll be over there later on. Don't worry about it.
You trying to say you want to
No,
fight?
I'm saying,
huh?
No, not to fight. She don't want to fight.
You said what?
No, she don't.
You said you was trying to. She said I'm a physical learner, and then she was like, "Teach."
I'm a physical learner.
You want?
She needs hands-on training.
Like, y'all can't sit here and tell me how to raise my kid without showing me how and teaching me how to raise my kid. Because clearly, what I'm doing is piss poor wrong. So I'm a physical.
I'll be over there later. I'll come and see you and Kay later.
And get all three of these motherfucking kids, take them to school, take them to daycare, pick their ass up, take them to after school.
Now that's asking too much. You OD.
No, I'm a physical
OD.
learner. So you have to
that.
physically take on the responsibility to teach, so I can learn how to deal with. You can't have your own kids. You gotta have my kids, so I can learn how to raise my kids through y'all. So what time y'all picking these motherfuckers up?
These motherfuckers up. Listen, on that note, I love you.
Oh, okay.
I love you, Sandy.
See how quick
Harmony.
that is?
See, this goes back to what I was talking about before. You say you want a solution, but how are you going to act when they give you a solution? Are you going to fight them the entire way, or are you going to get on the program? You're not going to get on the program. So as much as she's going to get up, well, you should teach me. Well, guess what? If somebody does try to go over there and teach you, you're going to be combative the entire time. Look how you're being combative, even with them just talking to you. Yeah, this is some foolishness. I might have to clip this and react to it in a video, because that's crazy. This whole situation is crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clip this up and look at it with a look at it again and post a video about this, because this whole situation, even just looking at the last few minutes of it, were insane. I'd hate to see what's happening all along this timeline. Let's be so for real. Let me share this to myself. I'm gonna clip this up and I'll give you guys some more commentary on this, in a future video, because this is crazy. This is literally crazy. All right, y'all. It's that time. I've been on here for quite some time. I didn't know it was gonna take me that long to react to what I missed, but we had some good conversations. Okay, we got into it. But tomorrow, like I said, Messy's gonna be on the channel. Super excited to talk to the good sis. So we'll get into that. That's gonna be 6 p.m. EST. All right, y'all. Motherhood is calling me. Okay, motherhood is calling me. So I gotta go. But links are in the description for all the ladies, links to the full live stream. Also, there's a link to the Discord and my backup channel. So definitely check out those links if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much. I'll see y'all literally tomorrow. Deuces.